Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
At Holley, we're gearheads too, so we decided to create a one-stop shop for all things automotive, a place we call Motor Life. Motor Life is Holley's new completely free digital magazine that houses the how-to stories, car features, news, and videos that car folks love. To check it out, head on over to motorlife.com and don't forget to subscribe to our Motor Life newsletter so you won't miss any of this great car-centric content.
My name came up a lot of sounds, more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about.
Round 5 of the Formula Drift heads to the PNW. That's the Pacific Northwest.
Before we get started, I want to know one thing.
S track walk preview of Evergreen Speedway in Monroe, Washington. So as soon as Sopa gives me the go-ahead, I'm going to look over at him. He's going to give us a thumbs up. There's the car banging into gear. Go through, second gear right there. Down the straightaway, third, fourth gear. It's going to spin the tires off. We're going to handbrake in. Little bit of left foot brake there, wide open around this bank, absolutely wide open the entire time, and you're just basically trying not to fly into the wall. It's a little bit terrifying, but it's pretty fun. Hit third gear right there, red dog it back into power, and I'm gonna go ahead and transfer, drag the handbrake a little bit. We're in third gear now. Just kind of working the gas pedal a little bit, trying not to go too wide on inside one there. Big transfer, and looking at the crowd, a little bit of smiles, and wide open banging the limiter in that 2JZ across the line. So not too bad, pretty decent lap. Went a little bit wide on outside zone 2, but at the end of the day, it got us an 88-point run, and that was good enough for 9th place today. So pretty stoked overall, and what a fun track here at Evergreen Speedway, Seattle.
Look at this, the signature pine trees here. This is Evergreen Speedway in Monroe, Washington, playing host to round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. We are sold out. Pound your feet, make some noise, Seattle. Sold out event, back in grand fashion. From empty bleachers last year, doubleheader, to now, who's going to win here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship? I'm Jared Deanda. Join me once again, Ryan Sage, Jen Horsey filling in for Lorette Nickel here this round of competition. Tell your friends, hashtag FDSEA at Formula D. Tag myself, Sage, and the whole fam. We are about to party and introduce you to our top 16 drivers here in Seattle. But first, thank you to the United States Air Force for their support of not only our series, but of course, best country in the world in my eyes. So, if you would, please stand and remove your hats, because you can see the young men and women wearing blue t-shirts have made a commitment to serve in our United States Air Force. To honor their commitment, please remain standing while Captain Holst from the 361 Recruiting Squadron administers the Oath of Enlistment.
How's everybody doing tonight? Ready for some races? All right, hey, I wanted to thank Formula Drift and thank Evergreen Speedway for giving us the opportunity to recognize these amazing men and women who are about to take the next step in their journey and join the world's greatest Air Force in support and defense of the United States Constitution. So, round of applause for these guys. Big step. Also wanted to shout out their family and friends, too, who are here. They're not doing this by themselves. They're coming into our Air Force family, but it's an awesome experience for them. We also, for those that don't know, we're over there. If you're interested in any active duty Air Force, Guard, Reserve, Special Operations, we're over there. But without further ado, we'll get the show on the road. Thank you again. Good luck to all the racers, and let's get this race going. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me according to the regulations and uniform code of military justice. So help me God. Another round of applause for them, please.
Thank you again to Captain Holst, and again, those young men and women wearing those blue t-shirts. And also, if you could, please remain standing and remove your hats, as presenting the colors McCord Air Force Base Honor Guard and singing the national anthem is Paris Eberharder.
Whoa, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You make some noise for Paris Eberharder. And the McCord Air Force Base Honor Guard, the young men and women in the blue shirts, and of course, Captain Holst. Are you ready to meet your top 16 drivers? Make some noise, Evergreen Speedway. We're getting ready to send it for round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. We start with the first car parked. He's your #1 qualifier, former champion, piloting that FCP Euro Liquimali BMW. It is Michael Essa. Next up, old red, new red, red all over. Travis Reeder, he is up here in that Link Engine Management BMW. Make some noise for PNW's own Travis Reeder. Next up, your #2 qualifier, 3-time Formula Drift champion, piloting that NOS energy drink, Nissan 370Z. It is Chris the Force Forsberg. Next up, from Paducah, Kentucky, his oil cap fell off and now it's backed on. He is ready to throw down in his G37, the Cash Racing G37. It is Jonathan Hurst. Next up, coming to us from Norway, another Norwegian up in the mix, another Supra with a Norwegian behind the wheel. He's got the Street Hunters kit wrapped around that 2JZ powered brand new Toyota Supra. It is Simon Olsen. Moving on down the line, he's ready to throw down in that Permatex 200. He's going to go 200 miles per hour. The Permatex flat out 200, but he's going to go flat out here. He's from the PNW as well, and that Permatex Fast Orange GT Radial BMW. It is Dylan the Dozer Hughes. Speaking of 2 wheels, this gentleman came in from the moon, and now here he is on his little mini pit bike. He's about to throw down in his 4-wheeled hot rod, the Falcon tires, Drift Cave, Boyle exhaust, your current points leader. It is Matt, the Beast of the Bay Field. This gentleman, he is out for blood. He took out Odie Bakshis earlier today. He's in contention for a championship. He's gotten a win already this year. He pilots that BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. It is Chelsea Danofa. He is your 2-time and defending Formula Drift champion. He is a day 1 since 2004. He pilots the Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D, the professional fun hammer, Von Gittin Jr. Coming to us from Southern California, Agora Hills to be exact. He pilots that Clonex Racing Nexen Tire Ford Mustang. It is Trenton Beecham. Moving on down the line, another day 1 OG from 2004. The OG, piloting that Gretty Toyota GR Toyota Supra. It is the Goosh Kenshiro Gushi. Next up, this hot hatchback, the 4-cylinder turbo nitrous gum out Toyota Racing Corolla on Nitto tires. Make some noise for the one, the only. It is Ryan Turk. The high horsepower hot rod on the maiden voyage of this vehicle last year. He won an event. Can he do it here in Seattle? He pilots that Rockstar energy drink. Nitto Tire Toyota GR Supra. Make some noise for the former champ. That is the Norwegian Hammer, Fredrik Asbo. Next up, this gentleman bringing a little luck of the Irish. He went hard to the wall yesterday, but he's out for blood. He lives up to his name. He's piloting that Oracle Lighting, Nexen Tires, Dodge Viper. Like I said, from Ireland, Dean Carnage Carney. Next up, excited to see what kind of choreography we got from this gentleman and his team. The 818 Edelbrock powered GT Radial Nissan 370Z. It is Jeff Jones. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, Jeff. There you go. last but definitely not least, this gentleman likes to throw down. He's been thrown down big time. Lucky number 13, originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan, in that Falcon Tires Roush performance. It is the one, the only JTP, Justin Pollock. That Ford Mustang ready to throw down. Here are your fans. Thank you to our VIP fans. Let you high five, handshake, high five, and talking to your favorite drivers. And we'll clear them off track here in just a moment as we get a special guest up here representing the United States Air Force. Again, my name's Jared Deanda. Ryan Sage is up here in the booth, and we have a special guest from the United States Air Force. There we go. All right. And let's go and throw that down and back it up here, representing not only the United States Air Force, but the U.S. Space Force. That's what it says right there. Hey, what's up, man? Jared Deanda.
Hey, how's it going? It's Anthony Lukert.
Anthony
Tech
Lukert.
Sergeant with the Space Force.
A sergeant with the Space Force. You're the first ever, basically military representative that I've spoken to from the Space Force.
Thank you.
Because basically you can enlist and go into the Space Force. That's a whole division of the United States Air Force.
Yes, sir. It's actually a whole new branch.
Yeah.
They just, had it come out last year.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic. The 5,000 individuals that are here in the branch right now do a lot of cyber and satellite defense and offensive operations, something that's been needed to be done for a long time. So
that's awesome.
We're finally covering that hole.
That's great. And where are you currently stationed?
I'm attached to JBLM, McCord Air Force Base.
Awesome.
I do a lot of recruiting out of there right now, but I was out of Maryland doing some presidential work as well as a lot of satellite operations.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how long you been in the military and Air Force and now Space Force? How long collectively?
I just hit 16 years a couple years months
Did you start
ago.
when you're like 5? You're your baby face, man.
No, I'm gonna be 39. So
okay,
yeah.
all right. Yeah,
I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And why did you originally join the Air Force? And now, like you said, presidential work now in the Space Force. That's an awesome kind of trajectory and an interesting deal. But why did you initially join?
So I was tired of flipping pizzas.
Makes sense. There you go.
I wanted to do something with some of the education that I had gotten beforehand. I did a lot of education and a lot of work in electronics, and I loved working with electronics. And Space Force gave me, the Air Force gave me that opportunity to pursue that passion of mine, and I've loved it ever since.
That's awesome. And are there kind of some awesome jobs that maybe because now you're doing recruiting for Space Force? Were you recruiting for Air Force before? And are there any interesting jobs that kind of come to mind that either peers of yours have been in positions in the Air Force or now the Space Force? Are there any interesting jobs kind of that you could maybe share with our fans?
So my best friend, he actually gave me the idea to join the Air Force at the time. He's still in. He's stationed over in Japan right now as a linguist. He knows a ton of different languages. For example, he picked up Japanese over the course of about a week.
A week? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a huge head, but not a lot in there. But that's amazing. That's tremendous.
No, he's absolutely smart. So
all right. So I got to ask you, are you a car guy?
I am a car guy.
Okay. What do you drive? Any big hot rod? I mean, I drive a truck, so I don't know. What do you drive?
Well, I do have a truck. I do have a 19 Toyota Tundra TRD.
Okay.
It's an absolute blast to drive, but my baby is a 07 Cobalt SS supercharged.
Sick.
Yeah.
So you're a car guy. You got to be loving this. Is this your first Formula Drift event?
This is.
Okay.
Absolutely fun. It's a blast to see the engineering and all of the science that goes in, as well as all the math that the professionals have really got down into the nuts and bolts,
literally
to the point where it's an exact science.
Right. No, that's awesome.
Crazy.
Well, thank you so much. And guess what? I don't need to interview anymore, or I don't have to interview anymore. You get to watch and witness and enjoy Formula Drift. Are you pumped? Do you have a favorite driver or vehicle out of these yet, or just the whole show?
It's been the whole show, but I kind of have a soft spot for Vipers. So
okay. Dean Carnage Carney, he's Irish as well, so he likes to party, and his name is Carnage. So hopefully, like I say, he doesn't live up to his name, but he likes to throw down. So right on, man. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And for more information on the United States Air Force, and if you want to enlist and get involved, how would one do so, either Air Force or Space Force?
Go to airforce.com or spaceforce.com or visit your local recruiter for more information.
There you have it. Thank you so much, the United States Air Force and the Space Force, for their involvement in the Formula Drift Championship and protecting, again, I got to say it, my grandpa just put him to rest in San Diego a couple weeks ago. He's now buried at Miramar military base. So thank you so much to all the young men and women and all the service men and women that have helped protect what I think the greatest country in the world. So when we come back, we're going to see some head-to-head action, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship, Evergreen Speedway. We're ready to send it! The battle in Seattle, the throwdown, when we come back.
800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignited. NOS Energy, human horsepower.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlick technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
Yo, Chelsea, the coloring on our NGK spark plugs looks incredible for handling 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah, I know. I've been telling you for years. I've been running NGK plugs, and they're awesome. Did you know that NTK is part of the NGK family? And they make all sorts of sensors like O2 sensors, temperature, pressure, position, and ignition coils.
I did not know that, but maybe we can talk them into making proximity sensors to help you with your bumper budget.
Now available at Advanced Auto Parts and CarQuest Auto Parts stores.
Welcome back. The Throwdown is what it's called, and we are just a stone's throw away from Seattle, but Monroe, Washington to be specific. Evergreen Speedway, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. I'm Jared Dienda. Joining me once again at my side is Ryan Egas, aka Sage. He's here, sold out, man. We have no more. You pay for the whole seat, but you're only going to use the edge.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. It's really great to be back here after an empty stadium last year with the double headers where we saw Von Gittin Jr. take those two. But it's a different story this year. Fans in effect, and here is our top 16 bracket. You can see that the defending winner of this event, Von Gittin Jr., has got to go up against the current points leader in the championship, Matt Field. And look at that battle right above them. Chris Forsberg and Frederick Osbo, Ryan Turk, Justin Pollock, Travis Reeder, and Simon Olsen. And then on the left-hand side of the bracket, we see Michael Essa, Ken Gucci, Jonathan Hurst versus Dylan Hughes, Dean Carney and Jeff Jones. Those guys have some history. And Chelsea Denofa versus Trenton Beecham.
Yeah, I got a lot of eyeballs on the Vaughn battle because that's going to be interesting. Vaughn and Matt, he could kind of help out Chelsea there, moving some things around, all that. But as we are getting prepared here, we're talking about championships. So why not throw it down to Jen Horsey, who's with the Norwegian Hammer, a former champ, Fredrik Osbo.
Thanks very much, guys. So some of you probably know that I've worked for this team for 11 years. I media trained Freddie, so I thought I'd stop by and check out how that worked out. So Freddie, tell me a little bit about, we go to a ton of ovals. How is this one different? They're not all the same, right?
Right. I guess they are similar but different. And I would say that this particular track, Evergreen Speedway, is different because there's a lot of slowing down. You come off, or you enter the bank, and you're on the throttle for so long, you're hustling, you're moving, and then, you know, the carnage starts happening because you're slowing down into the power alley. A lot of crashes have happened there. You're switching back into turn 2. A lot of crashes have happened there too. I mean, if you watch Top 32, you would have seen it. And then you have people pushing each other into that last corner. So this is a real test of your braking prowess and how well you can actually slow down while still being close and not hitting the other guy.
And in terms of power and speed, you're hitting about 90 miles an hour, it sounds like, but what's your wheel speed?
Yeah, good question. That's proprietary info. You can ask the team. But no, honestly, I don't really have the wheel speed number here because we're just going off of last year's data. But it's up there, you know. We're making a lot of smoke out here. It's quite fast. I try and not look at the speedometer, you know. I try and look up and see where I'm going, but it is a fast one, especially that bank, and I love it.
All right, well, nice job with the interview. Thanks so much. I think that wheel speed's somewhere in the 140 mile an hour range. And guys, back to you for the first battles.
Thank you so much, Jen. And yeah, I think Freddie passed. I mean, the teacher, you know, talking to her student, but
Jen actually knew a little bit more than Freddie about wheel speed.
Right, exactly. No, it's all good. Very aware. So as you can see, we are filling up here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship, and we are getting set for our first battle. And there it is. Michael Essa, Ken Gucci will pull them into that Pedal Commander burnout box, as we are moments away from getting things kicked off here. Let's take a look back here. This is Michael Essa versus Ryan Littoral. Remember, Michael Essa, your number 1 qualifier against number 32 qualifier. That is Ryan Littoral.
That seems like a long time ago, right? The very first battle of the top 32, and we see Ryan Littoral finally getting the car where he wants it, getting out to the event, but unfortunately he ran into Michael Essa, your number 1 qualifier, and then this had to be the most highly anticipated battle of the top 32, Chelsea DeNova versus Odi Bakchis, both championship contenders. Whoever goes out in the top 32 is going to be holding on to a result that they do not want in the second half of the season. And for Odi Bakchis, going up against Chelsea DeNova, he took the fall there as he just came a little bit too tight on the inner part of the power alley and hit DeNova.
Yeah, and here's our number 2 qualifier, Chris Forsberg, who went against Kyle Mohan, made quick work of him, and just powered on through, and now here he is. Chris Forsberg will be going against Fredrik Osbo, who Jen just had some words with. Here's Matt Field, who went from 0 to back being a potential hero yesterday in qualifying, had that incomplete, and then got into the not-so-great 8, and then now in 32. Took it one more time, but Rad Dan was trying to twist the screws on our current points leader, but Matt Field struck when the iron is hot.
Yeah, and then check out this battle here, another good one with Rome Charpentier taking on Von Gittin Jr., the defending winner of this event. Rome coming in hot this season, has been looking great. Just made that one little mistake coming through the center section there and was able to give the edge to the defending champion, who is looking to kind of gain some ground even on his own teammate as that fight for the championship starts to tighten up a little bit. We're going to see, I think, some really interesting results after today's event.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where we land after this. Keep in mind, St. Louis, you know, about a month, and then we go to the streets of Long Beach. That's in September, and then October 22nd, 23rd. It all culminates for an exclamation point at the House of Drift, the iconic track, playing host to the culmination of our 18th season ever. This all kicked off in 2004 in Atlanta. There is our previous rounds and our previous round winners. You can see Chelsea DeNova, you know, he's 2-time winner, but we have seen Matt Field on the box a couple times, dropping that champagne, jumping off the podium. It's quite a celebration. I said, where did you get that from? This is from Lando, from F1. He does that move and just gets after it. But Odi Bakchis, Chelsea DeNova Field, and Chelsea DeNova. So he's been consistently on the box quite a bit. Let's take an overhead look at the course, Ryan.
Well, here it is, and this is the most important map for tandem competition. Those red marks denoting where the telemetry data was coming off the cars, showing where they're having a deceleration in G's. And so we see that decel coming off of outside zone 1 right at the end. And then the one that I think is the most consequential is the one in outside zone 3. We see outside zone 3 and the transition to inside clip 1 play a huge role in a large number of battles, and I would expect that that'd be the same thing here today. And then the final little decel is a small one. It's right before outside zone number 4.
You talk about that's a lot of attention there, but what do you think is the most critical in the judges' eyes? Because it gets precarious there from 3, because it's blatantly obvious, but what are some other areas? Because again, it's broken down into sectors, right? Because OZ 1, 2, 3. What do you think the judges are really focusing on after 32? What do you think?
I think you know, the big bank is always plays a huge role. I think battles can be won and lost there in the same way that battles can be won and lost by overshooting outside zone 3 and then having to either really late apex that inside clip, and then the guy that's following you is too tight. We see contact there. Obviously, that's where the pass was made last year between Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Justin Pollock. So, you know, I don't know that there's any one part of the course that is less consequential, but I feel like things happen a lot more at outside zone 3 to inside clip 1. But if you don't have a good bank run, whether it's in the lead or the chase, it is really kind of hard to build back up and be competitive from that.
And again, we took a look here at the season standings, and you know, as we go into 15, remember 100 points for first place, and you're seeing all of those names right there outside of Adam LZ. You know, unfortunately, he took himself out, goes into the wall, slams into it, takes himself out. Trenton Beecham advances, but the big story is today, Chelsea Denofa defeats Odi Bakshis in the 32. So with that points gap, that is going to get closed up. You know, unfortunately, with Odi going out pretty early. So we're doing a little track walk here, make sure all the debris is off the course, and make sure we get thumbs up and everything checks out, and we should be good to go. So that's what, just making sure we're all good to go. Thanks to our track workers, and thank you to all our Formula Drift staff for keeping it going, and thank you to the fans as we are seeing our first battle here, Michael Essa versus Ken Gushi. And unfortunately, Ken Gushi, unfortunately and then fortunately, he had some issues, but fortunately Kazuya Taguchi had some issues as well, so he advances on.
Yeah, I was talking to Jen during lunch, and
what's talking about?
Well, mostly
Taguchi?
Yeah.
She's the pronunciation.
She's like, I heard you guys on there, and yeah, that was definitely a mouthful. I don't think we have it in this one. Michael Essa, Ken Gushi, that one's pretty simple.
It's pretty clerical, yeah. It's pretty straightforward.
And you can see the #1 qualifier there getting ready to do battle against Ken Gushi. I still don't think that Ken's vehicle is at 100% from what we saw. He was able to squeak by Kazuya Taguchi, who has had a phenomenal season of his own. But this is a great opportunity here for Ken to make up some ground. Has not had those finishes, but he's got to get through the #1 qualifier, Michael Essa, who has looked strong all weekend long. Can he continue in our first battle here in the top 16?
The Royal Purple Synthetic Top 16, that is Royal Purple, the official lubricant of Formula Drift, the official engine oil of Formula Drift. All right, and here is our automotive cup, our automotive manufacturer. Now keep in mind, it needs to be manufacturer chassis and matching manufactured engine for the automotive championship. So Ford leads the pack with 609, Toyota, Chevy, Dodge, and Nissan. So as there's our auto cup, our top 5. I know there's also a tire championship as well, which I believe Nitto is currently leading. All right, so here we go. This is Michael Essa out front. Ken Gushi will give chase. All right, Seattle, are you guys ready? Oh, come on. I know, again, you got to let everybody know. Is Seattle the best drift crowd ever or what? Here we go, Michael Essa, Ken Gushi. Here we go, Seattle. Michael Essa initiates high into the bank. Ken Gushi a little bit later than Michael Essa. Now both of them riding high. Michael Essa just a bit higher. You can tell by those hash marks on the lane. Now coming down to the power alley into that second outside zone. Ken Gushi shortens it up. Michael Essa, oh, we got contact. Houston, we have a problem. But Michael Essa not phased. Ken Gushi continues on. And that's exactly what he needed to do to really solidify what was going on there. Gushi coming in way too hot, having to compromise, and then just shortens it up and gets in the side of him.
Exactly what we just said,
Yep.
right? Outside zone 3, there's a decel prior to the zone and filling most of the zone, about 75% of it. And big props there to Michael Essa for staying in that. That was a pretty hard hit, and we'll have to look to see if there's any damage there. It does look like Ken Gucci is going to incomplete on this run, but let's take a closer look at it here. Like you said, Gucci got a little bit of a late jump. He's trying to make up ground now. He's trying to get to that line that Michael Essa is on, but Essa is staying super close to the wall, getting on throttle, blazing through outside zone 2 and 3, and then right there, that's where the decel, and you can see Gucci just kind of comes through the smoke line, and right there makes contact with them, and then has to come out of drift there. Now, as we mentioned in the Top 32 broadcast, we do have some access to telemetry data on both of the vehicles, and so if the judges need to access that to determine something that is really, really hard to kind of see with the naked eye, we can do that. We did utilize that in the Denofa battle with Odi Bakchis, and that was super helpful. But now we're going to mix things up. It looks like both cars are back at the line. No substantial damage here, and we'll get the second half underway.
Here we go, Ken Gucci now leading out of that start chicane. You got to think, how is Michael Essa going to approach this? He goes tip to tail, now they go into formation. But Michael Essa, very interesting approach, but looks like he's got the horsepower, and he is right there next to him. But I would like to see him mimic that angle, but Gucci really pouring it on, like the line where he's at, as long as Essa keeps it clean. Oh, buddy, looks like we are going toe-to-toe or nose-to-nose, wheel-to-wheel, door-to-door. The Seattle crowd erupts as they go across the finish line. Ladies and gentlemen, Formula Drift, baby! Ryan, really interesting approach. Like I said, it was like tip to tail. He didn't like, I don't know, just...
Yeah, it seems like Michael Essa, you know, as you said earlier in the broadcast, not leaving it in the judges' hands, doesn't really care about the outcome of that first run and is pushing it on the second. As you said, got a little bit of an interesting start there, but immediately started to wind in Ken Gucci, had a little bit less angle, so he's kind of maintaining that proximity, but he's maintaining it for a very long duration of time, and there's definitely a value to that. Comes through the smoke line, kind of gets right into the part of the door of Ken Gucci that's super important to stay on the appropriate line. So he was pushing there right into the pocket of Ken Gucci, and the judges requesting a side-by-side. I'm actually not quite sure why they are, because the first run is going to result in an incomplete for somebody, and it looks like it's going to be Ken Gucci. It may just be because they wanted to see it from the overhead, and that's oftentimes what we'll use for the side-by-side.
And you know, the BC Racing and custom coilover, the official suspension of Formula Drift, go for gold is their motto. Maybe were they reviewing? Did Michael Essa potentially slow down? That might be what's going on. The judges. Okay. Yeah. So again, interesting. All right. Looks like we're throwing out some gear here, thanks to the United States Air Force and Space Force.
So yeah, I think what they wanted to see, just conferring with them, is that they wanted to look at both runs side by side to see how Ken Gucci approached outside zone 3 and where he was decelling relative to Michael Essa, and where we saw that collision occur where Ken Gucci came out of drift there. So looks like we're going to go back to it again. Now it's definitely very clear to me that they're trying to determine whether or not the decel was done appropriately by Michael Essa. That's the decel. He's starting. It looks like they are looking to see whether or not Essa was getting back on throttle in the right place. Now that's becoming clear because of the specific replays that we are looking at. So remember, the decel for this zone starts right there and ends right there. So the drivers should be starting to get back on throttle at that point. And I knew that this was going to be an area where stuff was going to happen. So that for sure is what the judges are looking at.
All right, so let's see what the outcome here is for Michael Essa and Kenshiro Gucci. Next battle on deck will be Hurst and Hughes. Jonathan Hurst, who, again, I talked with him, and I talked to Dylan Hughes, and he said that Hurst came up to him. He says his oil cap came off. That's why all that oil was on track, and that's why it caught fire.
Yeah, that's
kind of
pretty
crucial.
gnarly. Yeah, you kind of need that.
You kind of need that. You're gonna need your oil cap, bud.
Well, first battle of the top 16, and already an interesting one.
Some controversy.
Yeah, I mean, Ken hits him before us is getting back on throttle, so I understand why they're taking a look at that. And remember, the decel zone technically ends right where, if you're a fan in the stadium, you'll see this pretty clearly. And from the above, these hash marks. That last hash mark is basically where the decel zone ends, and drivers are expected to start getting back on throttle and then throttling towards inside clip 1. So there it is right there. You can see on the left-hand side, the first one over, that's approximately where the decel zone ends, and it starts in front of that GT radio sign.
All right.
We're looking again here, guys, at the drone replay. I don't know if I'm on the mic or not.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay. We want to make sure that we're making the right call. Looking at where Michael Essa is, he's not in outside zone number 3, and he also is decelling past outside zone 3. But we're also looking at what Ken Gushi is doing. Ken Gushi missed outside zone 2 and was running a different line coming up to outside zone 3 than Mike Essa was. So we're trying to determine fault and make sure that we're making the right call based on what we saw happening on the track.
So from a procedural standpoint, they basically have 3 options. They have driver A fault, driver B fault, or they have shared fault, meaning that both drivers in some way were the cause of the collision. Now, if that's the case, if it's shared fault, what would happen is it will go back to the run where there is no incomplete, and there would be a comparison there. Probably, you could make a case that Michael Essa might still get the better of that, but overall, that we still need to have the judges assert who's at fault here, or if it's shared fault.
Now that all the votes are in, Ryan, I guess I could talk about it a little more. We're just going to wait for it to come up on the screen now. All 3 judges, have inputted their decisions. I personally believe that, despite the fact that Ken Gushi missed outside zone number 2, Mike Essa missed outside zone number 3 and then decelled well beyond the acceptable area. And I personally put it on Michael Essa at fault for that. But we're going to see what the other judges have chosen once the screen comes up here. Again, all our scores are in. We're just waiting for that to come up.
All right, the scores are inputted. Thank you, Lontaine, for elaborating on this. So let's see what we got here. And again, all right, so Ryan, interesting turn of events here as far as looks like we are getting results here. And it is going one more time. It is actually going one more time, 2-1. They're going at it again. Lontaine, Ryan, you were talking about it, so you said basically you sided with, and here it is. So again, it was Brian Eggert. Wait, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
You sided with Ken Gushi, but one more time from the other gentleman.
Yeah, Chris was just explaining that he didn't feel that Ken could have made it around the corner at the speed he was going and the line he was on, trying to match what Michael Essa was doing. My personal feeling was that Mike Essa is the one that made the error and Gushi is following him, so he was led into something like that with a big decel where you expect somebody to be getting back on throttle. So I assume Brian would agree with Chris in this situation. So majority wins, of course, and we're gonna see them go once again.
It's interesting just because with my naked, I call the live run, right? I don't have the I can't afford the instant replay. So when I saw that with the naked eye, and a lot of probably the fans saw it like contact, boom, Gushi, it's his fault. But when you slow it down, you really analyze certain things that you do. You find those, right? You find that needle in the haystack.
Yeah, we're looking at the actual contact and what occurred there, but we're also going backwards in the run and seeing what led to that from both drivers, where they were on the track, what they were doing. Was the lead driver adhering to their responsibilities, and was the chase driving adhering to theirs? In this case, we have a bit of a disagreement on that, but that's why there are 3 of us, and the majority in this case won.
Yep. So they're going at it again. Alrighty, so in our first battle, top 16, it will be a one more time between Michael Essa and Ken Gushi as we advance on to our next battle. Jonathan Hurst piloting his Cash Racing G37. You can see that thing, minus the fender, the headlight, the bumper, and Dylan Hughes, that fast orange Permatex GT Radial BMW. Again, he's going for it here. Here we go, as Jonathan Hurst will lead Dylan Hughes, the dozer, from here in the Pacific Northwest. He is going to give him chase. Jonathan Hurst initiates. Hopefully oil cap stays on here. Looks like it is. He has thrown it down. And looks like you can see mid-high to the bank. And now into that second outside zone. Oh, big angle from Hurst. That got really wonky. Look at the angle from Hurst. Now coming around in that final outside zone. All right, Ryan, this is where I mean, it looked insane, but let's look at it again. From outside zone 2 to 3, that got real weird.
Well, that was definitely a recipe for another potential collision there. Let's take a look at it from the onset. Both drivers side by side, getting a good start here. Look at the mimic there by Hughes, just having a couple slight adjustments, but keeping proximity relatively close here. And now coming down off the bank, you can see not filling the zone completely. Big angling up there by Hurst. Now, that's going to have to affect the chase driver, and we see Dylan make that adjustment. That like A happens, then B happens, and it looks like there was an effect to Dylan where potentially he thought there may be something that he would have to avoid because of the angling up of Hurst. So I think at first pass, Hurst would get that mistake. Obviously, he has clean air out in front of him, and perhaps the mistake, quote unquote, that Dylan made was caused by the angling up there of Hurst.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So that's throwing up the roadblock. I don't think Hurst actually intended to do that, but he actually salvaged that. He definitely could have parked it. Dylan was like, whoop, hold on, put on the brakes. All right, here we go. So Dylan Hughes will now lead the dozer, and Jonathan Hurst will be given chase. Look at that, Dylan Hughes. Jonathan Hurst now, it seems like he's a little lower, kind of alternating positions from what went down. Oh, and Hurst goes hard into the wall. Dylan Hughes continues on through the course. Let's make sure he is okay, as Dylan does need to continue on through the course, and he does that. So this is another scenario. Did Dylan cause any sort of incident there between Hurst and himself?
Well, again, remember that area, and I'm sure we'll probably go back to this again. There is a momentum map / decel area coming off of the bank. Remember, it's right at the end of the outside zone. So we will take a look at this and see what happens. But obviously, the run stops there for Jonathan Hurst. And as we go back to the replay, we'll dissect it a little bit deeper. Hurst trying to be aggressive here. Hughes right up on the bank, nice and high, up against a wall. You can see Hurst is on a tighter line here. Now he starts scooting back.
Whoa.
And it looks like the front end.
Right.
Yeah, the front end grips up there. And one of the things that we've been learning as these cars have been getting more powerful is how the front end can grip up when they when they're off throttle for an extended period of time, or they change or have an input in the vehicle. And it looks like that's what happened there. As we get a result quickly here, it looks like the intuitive results coming through.
Slide him right for Dylan Hughes. So yeah, the suspension looks like that front right snap. So the suspension, Jonathan's outside of his car. So again, glad he's okay. But Dylan Hughes gets the win. The dozer moves on as Jen Horsey is with Ken Gucci.
All right, so Ken, in his first battle, ended up using his 5-minute timeout, so he doesn't have any more of those. But right now, they're just adding fuel and changing tires because this is a one more time. You didn't expect it to go one more time, huh?
I didn't, no, and the reason behind that is because on the outer zone 3, when we were in the decel zone, I actually had contact with Michael Lessa, who was leading the run, and at that point I actually thought I lost. So then my spotter Kevin and my radio was like, hey man, you just got to give it your all in your lead. That's exactly what I did, expecting that we would be taking that a competition, but here we are going one more time. So my boys are just doing a quick checkup, refuel, new tires, and we'll be back out for top 16.
So that was a situation where it wasn't clear who was at fault, right? I think people assume when somebody hits somebody else, the guy who made the contact is at fault, but maybe he has to slow down a little too much to be chased?
I guess the judges saw something that I didn't see, and they were saying that he was slow going out of the decel zone where he should have been accelerating. And honestly, I was just trying to stay close with him in that area, had contact. I thought it was my fault, but they see more than I do, so it is what it is.
It is what it is, and he gets a second chance. Back to you in the booth.
All right. Well, I think Ken Gucci, he understands. He hey, I did have contact, but those eyes in the skies, they definitely assist and they help, and that's why spotters and obviously in between the judges, they definitely understand. Ryan.
Yeah, do you see what I'm looking at here?
Yeah, that's new technology that is kind of we're developing over time, and this is a decel map where the G's obviously slow. You see the car and the attitude of the vehicle as opposed to
so what I'm looking at here is ESSA's telemetry data, and there is a big red mark that extends past that decel zone. So I think that's the reason why they sent it up here to kind of confirm that that's potentially what was going on. And it does look like, at least first pass, look at clarification on this, that he was still decelling outside of the actual decel zone itself and did not get back on throttle in time.
Yep. All right. So as you can see, Jonathan Hurst, we are still attempting to get him off course. When we come back, we'll continue with some more action. So Dylan Hughes in to the Great 8. Congratulations. But Jonathan Hurst goes hard on the wall. When we come back, more head-to-head action here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. The Royal Purple Top 16 continues.
Your body is a machine with 800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignite it. NOS Energy, human horsepower.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlick technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
Link ECU produces standalone engine management technology with a range of products that allow you to unleash the power of your engine. Acting as your car's brain, Link ECUs control electronic fuel injection and ignition. A magnitude of sensor inputs and outputs ensure your engine exceeds your expectations. Built-in safety features guarantee engine protection, and data logs keep you informed on its performance. Smoke your tires, not your engine, with a world-leading Link ECU.
Formula Drift is brought to you by BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift. Go for gold. And by Falcon Tire. All right, exit stage left there for Jonathan Hurst and his Cash Racing G37. I love scrutinizing these runs because, again, it's all about education and information, clarity for the fans, and that's what, you know, we're entertaining and educating, right? You and I, Ryan, and then getting down to the finite details. I'm speaking right off the cuff, right? I'm just calling it like I see it. You're breaking it down a little further, and then the judges obviously have to scrutinize and break it down even further and dissect it.
Yeah, and in the kind of the philosophy of the judging criteria, in many ways, is kind of informed by the drivers, like what these cars are doing at speed, what inputs they're utilizing. And if you remember, a couple of years ago, we used to have third brake lights that would indicate when drivers were braking, and that would allow us to make judgment calls off that. As the cars developed and got much more powerful, we had to get rid of that because the drivers were saying, look, I'm pretty much having to left foot brake around the course to control this vehicle. And we've got drivers that report to us that when they use their e-brake, they actually go faster. I've actually had a driver tell me that. So many of the things that are coming off of these cars as they develop are at first pass going to seem counterintuitive.
Right.
And then you have to look at, what the responsibilities of the lead and chase should be in terms of the little mistakes they make. Like, for example, if a driver is inches away from a lead car, right? And the lead driver has a small little input. What should be an acceptable reaction time for them to make an adjustment to that? That's all basically a personal preference. So it's one of the things I love about drifting. It's also one of the things that makes it so tough. But as we see Jonathan Hurst off the track again, a really tough day for him. Looks like a little more material oil down there on the course. But let's go over to Jen Horsey, who's with Dylan Hughes.
And Dylan Hughes is taking his arm restraints off because those are a little uncomfortable. Dylan, you made it through to the grade 8.
We did.
That was some battle with some contact. Why is this track so difficult?
I don't know. I think the biggest reason is just because that bank is so fast. We're maintaining on that wall 90 miles an hour, and when you have that deceleration zone, as you come off the bank, there's just bound to be some contact. So I did pretty much what I always do, hit the handbrake in the same spot, just a real quick one, downshifted, and I just felt a big whack from the side in my lead. But of course, you just keep going, that happens. It put me right on a perfect line, and then I heard behind me he went into the wall. So hats off to Hurst, hope he's all good, hope his car's all good, but really stoked to be through to the 8 here at my home track.
You're a driver that I think has a lot of potential to come out and win, especially at your home track. Where are you thinking about the championship right now? We're in the second half of the year. You're 12th in the points. Are you going to play spoiler?
Absolutely, I would love to. I just want one of those carbon trophies. I want to stink this suit up with some champagne. So that's my goal for today. I just want to get on that podium, and then hopefully that would get us a little bit farther ahead in the points. So I'd love to finish top 10 at least in the points, but I want some champagne. That's what I want.
All right, so maybe there's some champagne waiting for Dylan Hughes here in Seattle.
He's thirsty. Look at Dylan. Dylan's thirsty, baby.
Yeah, he's hyped up. Maybe the interview up here with you will give him good luck.
All right, so
no,
I don't know.
You're not a good.
I had a joke.
I'll
just leave it. I'll just leave it. You know, my mind kind of goes in a bunch of different directions.
Yes,
yeah, I'm just trying not to curse him. I'm not going to take claim that I gave him media training like Jen did with Frederick, and I know she did that, which is so good. I love it. But here we go, back with our one more time. This is Michael Essa and Ken Gucci. Michael Essa initiates high on the bank. Ken Gucci, you can see some wavering there. Michael Essa sticking it to the wall.
Jeez.
Woo! Are you kidding me? Look at that. Nice job by Essa. And look at Essa gets all that second outer zone. He seems like he's fired up. That MCP Euro liquid volley BMW transitions in. The GT radials go round. Ken Gucci drops into formation, but he was your #1 qualifier, or is your #1 qualifier. And that, we've had multiple perfect events over the years. I tell you what, Michael, I feel like maybe a little bit like, I'll show you guys.
I don't think you can do a better lead run than that, actually. I mean, if you can, let's point it out. But, basically, he is on the wall the entire way. He puts his rear tire right at the edge of outside zone 2. Clears outside zone 3. Perfect on inside clip 1. Outside zone 4, he enters and goes right in the middle. And then here's 3. I don't think you can have a better run than that. That is as close to perfect as you can get as a lead run. And it allows Ken Gucci to have moments where he surges in and attacks. But Ken really did not stick with him in the way that you would have wanted to on the big bank, and that's going to have an impact in the judges' eyes.
I think that not only does it, again, it highlighted his mistakes. Because it was so damn flawless. Let's just call it what it is. That was a #1 qualifying run, hence why he is your #1 qualifier. He is feeling this course. He is flowing with the course. He is hammering down. He's zip tying that go fast pedal down. He is sticking it to the wall. So now he needs to show up in a chase fashion. But Ken Gucci quickly gets to the wall. But Michael Essa, you can see nosing in. We need to mimic that angle as opposed to just getting that proximity. This is kind of reminiscent of Daigo Saito when proximity was the highlight. But we want to mimic. Oh! Oh, and Michael Essa makes a mistake. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Things are going awry for Michael Essa as they bring it into that last outside zone. The question is lead versus lead, chase versus chase. That's what we're comparing here. And Michael Essa in the chase on the bank, like I said, it was the old Daigo Saito. Remember, it was like proximity, proximity, proximity. That was the buzzword. We need to mimic that tire line.
Let's take a look from the onset here as Gucci takes the lead. Gets that initiation. Michael Essa quickly dives in. Good proximity there, but loses a little bit of angle. Gucci's doing pretty good on the big bank, and he's stable, right? He's not really moving around. He seems settled. Hits 2, perfect there. 3 gets into it a little bit late, doesn't fill it completely. Now, what I want to say here is that I think overall Michael Essa's lead is better, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he automatically wins the run. You have to look at the proportionality of both battles, right? Like you could still lose the leads, but lose it by a very, very small margin, but kill it on the chase to where there's a bigger margin for the other driver to overcome. So this is a great battle here. The one more time, really excited about what we're seeing so far from these two drivers, and of course another tough call for the judges.
I like what you said. Just because he had a great lead run doesn't mean it's in the bag. It's not over. So that's where, you know, it goes to show you fight for it. Fight for your right to party into the grade 8.
Yeah, and here's the side-by-side. I mean, this field is getting so competitive. You can see that Essa is definitely maintaining the proximity side. Gucci was not really much of a factor in proximity on the chase on the bank, but he starts to come back on the center section. But there's a natural compression here, so we kind of expect that. And with Michael Essa having such a good lead, it makes me want to focus on his chase and how big of the mistakes were there in his chase, and does that put us into another ambiguous situation, or do the judges have a clear winner in mind?
Well, let's see. Some of the fans are cheering one more time. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Michael Essa gets the win? Do you guys think Ken Gucci gets the win? Or do you think they should go one more time? I mean, look, you can't blame the fans here for saying one more time, because we are without drifting in person. Oh, here we go. So we got an OMT. Remember, this is we got a Michael Essa vote, and now Michael Essa gets the win. Michael Essa gets the win and advances on. So I'd love to throw it over to Ryan Lontaine if he can throw his headset on, and we'll wrap out. Again, 2-1. And obviously, you're the only the maple leaf up there. You sided with Michael Essa. Your reasoning?
Well, you saw what Michael Essa did in the lead position. You and Ryan already pointed it out. An incredible lead run. You could not have been closer to outside zone 1 wall with the angle and the speed that he was carrying through there. Phenomenal job there. And he hit every other mark on the track. He was deep in outside zone 2, deep in 3, had a great line through inside clip number 1, and finished the track really, really strong. Ken was not as high on outside zone 1. The proximity really wasn't there. He missed outside zone 3 in the chase position. And then on the chase, I think Michael Essa had much better proximity on outside zone 1, although he did falter on angle a little bit. But the level of difficulty was definitely there from Michael Essa on the chase position as well. Made one little error from zone 3 to inside clip 1, but overall pushed really hard, had great proximity, and I think he deserved the win.
Yeah, and let me ask you here real quick while I have you on the horn. We're going to go to the race, but
okay.
do you accumulatively kind of assess both runs, or it's independent just for fans' sake?
What do you mean?
We'll get to it.
Okay,
I'll talk to you later.
We'll
talk to you later, buddy. Call me.
Okay.
Call me later. Call me maybe. Okay. All right, looks like we got Jeff Jones and Dean Carnage Carney on the line, and Matt Sopa looks like maybe he's taking his order here. Did you want to supersize? What's going on here? I don't know exactly. The 818, the Edelbrock vehicle, got those brand new clutch wheels. He's excited about those. The GT radial, and I did get a text from Dean Carnage Carney. He said he might be having some car issues. He's saying his car might be overheating, head gasket failure. So hopefully it holds. But knowing Dean, he just goes for it, man. He absolutely just gets after it. So we will see how he fares. But pulling up to the line, Jeff Jones will lead. Jeff Jones with a solid showing, qualifying 20th. Dean Carney qualifying 29th. So already in the grade 8, Michael Essa versus Dylan Hughes. Next up, here we are. Who's moving on? Jones or Carney? Jones initiates in his Nissan 370Z. He's got the Edelbrock supercharger. Throws it. Oh, and Dean goes into the wall. Dean loses a tire. And Jeff Jones does need to continue on through the course. Yard sale on exit on aisle 1. Jeff Jones continues through the course. Ryan, Seattle, the monster that is the wall over there is absolutely consuming vehicles.
Yeah, and that happened so early in the battle. You wonder, what's the strategy there? Does the spotter yell to Jeff, hey, he just crashed behind you, take it easy. But at the same time, I think maybe Jeff knows because how loud that car is, that he can get through the run. But there's the tire that came off of Dean's vehicle. Yeah, the whole wheel. And obviously sustained some pretty substantial damage there. We'll go back and take a look at it. It started to seem like it was happening just a little bit after initiation. And we know that that wall does not move, and there's always going to be a lot of damage there, even with a really soft touch. But that was actually pretty hard. And look at that right there, the center of the wheel.
Oof. That's the whole brake rotor. And,
wow.
That's getting it for the gram, huh? Sick.
Here we go.
Be sure to tag Dean.
So Dean initiates on a little bit of a lower line, and the front end starts washing up towards the big bank. And that, you do not want that. So Jeff Jones, keeping an eye on him as we get around the course, is able to get through without any incompletes of his own. And so he will have an advantage here. And obviously we still just need to figure out if Dean is going to go through trying to fix the vehicle with using a competition timeout. And he does have one. He does have one. He has not utilized his.
But the big thing is how much damage. I mean, look, he did 2 one more times to Brandon Sorensen earlier. So as Dean goes hard in the wall, just want to make sure he's okay. Looks like that was a hard hit. I wonder if he, obviously lost power or something. So as Dean, we'll make sure he's okay and get him out of the car.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like he's maybe saying his arm is a little hurt there.
Yeah, he's out of the car. Hey, round of applause for Dean Carney, if you will. Make sure he can hear you. There he is. Dean Carnage Carney. So yeah, it looks like he's grabbing his arm. He might have shifted, and when he slammed, just ripped it in. A lot of the guys wear arm restraints. So unfortunately for him, it's going to take some time to get this vehicle off, with that back left. But guess what? Advancing on into the grade 8, Michael Essa, and Jen Horsey's with him now.
So Michael Essa is going to meet Dylan Hughes in his next battle. I'm glad to hear Dean's okay. Those guys have been working really hard on the car. How was your battle?
It was probably the most fun I've had all year. It was just, it was intense, man. And driving with Gucci is always fun. We drive together a lot. So we both know how we drive, and you just go 100% and really throw down. And this track is so fast. I made a little mistake on my lead, came off the bank a little too hot, and got contact going into outside 3. So they wanted one more time, and I was like, okay, it's going to be fun. Let's do it again. And went out there and just, yeah, it was such a blast, and I'm looking forward to moving on.
So for these one more time battles, what's the pressure like the second time? How do you erase from your head what happened in the first one?
I think it's kind of the opposite. I kind of think about the mistakes that I made and how I can clean them up, which I did on my lead run. But then the chase run, I had such a good chase the first time, and I tried to have an even better chase, and I ended up making some mistakes. So, but now I learned my lesson, and now we're moving on to top 8, first time this year. So I'm feeling good.
What was really great is that we got a capture of you and Gucci doing a big high five as Gucci came past the pits. The camaraderie in this sport, when you get 2 veterans battling door to door in a really fair fight, it's awesome to see.
It is. We all have respect for everyone out here, and we're all out here to try to get on the podium, and everyone knows that, and everybody's pushing hard and 100%. It's awesome.
Thanks, Mike, and back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you so much, compadre. Jen Horsey, congratulations. Michael Essa, it's going to be a BMW battle in the grade 8. One tried and true, all BMW, and then, yeah, holding it down, getting some photos, doing it for the gram. And then the Boost Brigade and Dylan Hughes with that 2J under the hood of his BMW. When we come back, more action. Clean up on aisle 1. I'm glad to see Dean Carnage Carney's okay, but he did live up to his name. Call yourself like Dean Clean Carney, you know what I mean? You'll keep it cleaner that way. All joking aside, we'll be back. Round 5 of the Formula Jet Pro Championship when we come back to Throwdown.
Your body is a machine with 800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignite it. Synergy, human horsepower.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlick technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
Yo, Chelsea, the coloring on our NGK spark plugs looks incredible for handling 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah, I know. I've been telling you for years. I've been running NGK plugs, and they're awesome. Did you know that NTK is part of the NGK family? And they make all sorts of sensors like O2 sensors, temperature, pressure, position, and ignition coils.
I did not know that, but maybe we can talk them into making proximity sensors to help you with your bumper budget.
Now available at Advanced Auto Parts and CarQuest Auto Parts stores.
And you're going against your Falcon Tire teammate.
Yes.
You know what to expect of him.
That's the thing, we drive together so much that there is no games, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. It's 100% from the second we leave the gate. That's how we practice, 200 laps on a normal test day between him and I. So it's gonna be real, that's for sure.
Little baby send. Let's send it! Atlanta, line up the 9. The finals are here. It's a Falcon 1-2. In which order are they going to land? Matt Field, the beast of the Bay initiates. Thrown into that blue front flip. Odie Bakshi right there. On the back. Oh! Odie Bakshi.
Matt Field, for me, was the best driver of the weekend. He qualified #1. He looked like the guy to beat, and it seemed to get more in his favor the deeper into competition that we went. It's ironic that the thing that probably cost him the win was when Odie hit him, and then he came back out and it didn't seem like the car was right.
I entered, he bumped me in the back, not too bad. Tried to gather it up, transition to go up the hill, and then got absolutely blasted on the whole right side. So, right front, damaged, right rear, damaged.
Had that not happened, I think Field would have won the event at that moment. Luckily, we did get to see a clean battle. Odie cleaned up his mistakes, and he is the winner here tonight. Congratulations to him.
This is what we have dreamed about, maybe not dreamed, but talked about and envisioned and put out there in the universe. And like, yeah, how sick would it be? How sick would it be? Well, it was freaking sick, dude. Absolutely. There was multiple times where I was sitting on the line and I just took a moment for myself to appreciate
how amazing this is, that I'm about to send it at 100 miles an hour, throw it as much angle as I possibly can on somebody's freaking door, and put on one hell of a show for a packed grandstand during all this that's going on in the world. Like, what a moment to be alive. What a position to be in. And we're in the finals and this is happening. We're in Final Four. It doesn't matter what battle. Like, this is happening and it's freaking awesome. And I just, before every run, I took a moment to appreciate what the hell is going on, because it's about as epic as it gets.
When it comes down to moments for me at Road Atlanta, the fans first and foremost. Just seeing all the smiling faces, everybody coming together, and everybody waiting to see who's going to come out on top. We haven't been here in 700 plus days. So when it comes down to it, Matt Fields, your #1 qualifier. All signs are saying this dude's gonna get it, right? But then who meets him but his frenemy? So friends, enemies, here's friends, here's enemies. At some point the needle was like, oh, this is fun, this is cute. And then Odie hits him. It starts to go to enemies, right? Or it just got ugly. So they go one more time. I felt like it was Matt's day. Odie, I looked at him right before giving away the trophies. It looks like his dog just died. I think it feels bad for one. Also, two, he knows he's got to do a lot of work. I heard Justin Pollock say, dude, guess what? I'm stoked because I can pull my car right up on the truck. I'll see you in Orlando. These guys, they're battered and bruised. But like Odie said, we got a trophy. There you go. Ready? Oh, hold on, I need to go photo you. Ready? 1, 2, and...
It feels great now thinking that I won Irwindale, which is the last round, and then winning the first round. But going into this, I purposely filed that away because you got to start fresh. You know, you can't feel too good and confident going into it. So I started fresh, but now it feels really good looking back, and we're just going to try to put it together the same way for the rest of the season. I've been starting out season strong, and that's been something that we've been working on. And here it comes again. It's happening. We just got to put it together for the rest of the season, and we're getting closer and closer to it. We're absolutely still frenemies, and I think that what transpired on the track is exactly, evidence of that. We push super hard because we don't want the other one to win when we're battling each other. When Matt's going against someone else, I push for him so hard to win. I hope that guy succeeds and is on the podium every single round. When I'm running with him and visors are down, I'm gonna do everything it takes to make sure I win.
All right, well, right on, here we go. And we cleared the track, and we're hearing that actually Dean Carnage Carney could very well attempt to fix his vehicle. So we might get some hot action in the hot pits. Again, if you're just joining us, we are live. We have 2 drivers already in the Great 8. We are at Evergreen Speedway, round 5. Look at that thing. Things seem some better days, but these technicians, they're magicians as well.
They are, and I am hearing whispers that we might be seeing dueling competition timeouts.
Oh, wow.
Because Jeff Jones was escorted, or rather dragged off course by a tow as well.
Okay.
And that potentially means that he's got a problem that occurred while he was on track that didn't manifest, and it's going to become a problem for him to get back to the line. Let's remember that if Dean goes out of competition here, Jeff Jones still needs to make his bye run.
Right.
If he doesn't make his bye run, he will get the win, but he won't be able to advance. And that is a really, really rare occurrence, but it has happened.
Yep.
So, but it's also possible that Dean could get his car fixed. He will have 5 minutes once the vehicle gets to his paddock and he can get hands on cars. But for the time being, we'll be moving on to Chelsea Denofa, who's going to be coming up next.
Moving on up. Chelsea Denofa is going against Trenton Beecham, so it's an all-Mustang battle, old versus new. A veteran versus, a fairly new driver, Trenton Beecham. No stranger to Formula Drift, but it's glad to see him back. He missed, I believe he missed 1 or 2 rounds before, but it's good to see him. I know he had a tough Erie, Pennsylvania round, but the Pedal Commander Burnout box is full of some Mustangs right now. Trenton Beecham warms it up, coming to us from Agora Hills, as Beecham, Agora Hills, and that Clonex Racing Nexen Tire Ford Mustang. Beecham qualified 21st, Chelsea Denofa qualifying 28th. So Beecham will actually lead. Here we are now. We're live in Carnage's booth and seeing what's going on here. See a little Plum Life sticker there. Shout out to Plum Life. And the boys, looks like, again, hands are on the car, so the competition clock is present. Don't see exactly where it's at, but the 5 minutes starts now, or if it hasn't already started, or it should have already been started. Okay, there it is. It's now just started. So Denofa versus Beecham. There's the stats. Denofa claiming 1,200 horsepower. Beecham about 850. So this should be a little bit of a overpowering of an arm wrestling match, but Beecham, don't count him out. He drove really well earlier today, but kind of got a little bit of a gift with Adam LZ going to the wall. Didn't have to fight for it, even though he was willing and able. Chelsea Denofa there in the BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. Chelsea Denofa with 2 victories here this year. And coming to this round of competition, was sitting second. So we'll see how that shakes down. And here is Beecham and Denofa. All right, here we are in the Royal Purple Top 16, Run 1, hashtag FDSEA. Let everybody know you're watching. And the lights are extinguished. You can see Chelsea Denofa with that staggered setup, giving himself a little bit of a run up here. Like that approach, but don't know if it's going to pay off, because look at this. Oh, just as I say that, he reels him in. Oh, wow, a big straightening there from Chelsea Denofa. Quick little correction there, a bobble. Now in that second outside zone into the third, and Chelsea Denofa does not look 100%. It looks just a little bit off, just by a scotch, just by a hair. Now in that final outside zone. Interesting, Ryan. And like I said, don't count Beecham out.
Yeah, I mean, things are never as predictable as some would imagine in this sport. Oftentimes, they are not predictable at all. And let's take a look here. Beecham gets out front, gets that nice little snap there. He's right up against the wall, and he's staying pretty solid there. Denofa closed the door, but look at the angling down.
Yep.
Right here, we'll see it again from the drone. Now he starts getting back into it, but right there, that's a pretty sizable mistake. The front end drips up, and he loses quite a bit of angle. Good job by Beecham there on that outside zone, and Denofa fails to hit outside zone 3. Nice job on that inside flip, and Beecham just gets his left rear into that outside zone 4, and Denofa better job there, but 2 noticeable sizable mistakes. The reduction of angle on the closing of the big gap, and then outside zone 3. Yeah. So he's better come through with a really solid lead here and hope that Trenton Beecham makes a mistake of his own.
Oh, look at this, little Tokyo drift. Rutledge Wood watching all the way. He's over there for the Olympics. So Rut, shout out to you, homeboy. Little Southern style living while in Tokyo. Cleet, are you watching? Shout out, Bad Chad and Cletus McFarland. You guys are watching as well. Here we go, Chelsea Denofa, Trent Beecham. All right, Chelsea's like, dude, what's going on here? Let's throw down. But he's still not 100%, just thrown off a little bit here. But Beecham, he drops down lower on the bank, coming down now into the power alley. Oh, Beecham really exceeding the edge of the track. Maybe a bit frantic. That's going to be an incomplete for Beecham. And man, Chelsea was looking nose to nose with the other Mustang. Right. What is going on? Seattle is just insane.
Yeah.
What, did you have the answer? Please do tell, Ryan.
No, there's no answers. There's no answers. There's just seeing what happens and trying to tell the best story that we can about what we think transpired there. But obviously, you know, there are opportunities to be seized for drivers when others make mistakes. And quickly the judges going into the favor of Chelsea Denofa.
And you got to contribute that all to, and I mean, even without talking to Lantaine, I'm assuming Trenton had an incomplete. Chelsea had mistakes, but it does not outweigh, unfortunately for Trenton, that was a massive mistake. 3 tires off, straightens out, goes middle track. It was, as one famous announcer said, not the prettiest. So unfortunately for Trenton Beecham, he is knocked out, and Chelsea Denofa moves on into the Great 8. Shout out to my wife. How's it going, babe? Love you. And of course, Mickey why am I butchering his last name? I've known him for years. Mickey, I'll just say Mickey Andrade. How we doing, homeboy? I know you're watching at home as well. So again, tell everybody hashtag FDSEA. As let's see. All right, as Chris Forsberg is warming up his tires, he's going against Frederick Osbo. Jen, what do you got down there?
There is all kind of action down here in Dean's Pit. The whole back end of the car is off. There's no wheel. There's no rotor. They've got a whole rear subframe assembly out here. They've got a lot of work to do. The way the clock works is that they let them unload the car and then they start the 5 minutes. We've still got 5 minutes on the clock as they prepare. They haven't started working here yet, but once the car is ready to go, we're going to see them all hands on deck.
Thank you so much, Jen. As we can see Frederick Osborne warming up. What's up?
I think when you heard him say the 5 started, that was actually for Jones.
Oh, copy that. Thank you very much.
Is that why you were confused?
Yes.
Like, why hasn't it started yet?
Wait, what? Yeah. So Jones's 5 minutes started.
Yeah, Jones's 5 has started. So
all right,
getting some stories on that as
So
well.
4 championships between the two gentlemen here. Chris Forsberg 3-time, Freddie 1-time. He'd love to get back up there again. Forsberg having a little difficulties this year. Here's a look at how our top 16 is shaping up already in Essa and Hughes. Now you can see again we're going back to Dean Carney and Jeff Jones, but now Forsberg and Osbo as topics tuning in.
The next 2 battles are massive battles here.
Right? Dude, Forsberg, Osbo, Field, Ginn. I mean, but look, Turk, JTP.
Yeah,
I mean,
the next 3.
The right side is stacked.
Right side
Not
is.
taking anything away from the left. You got Denofa, you got Essa, of course you got Hughes, but here we go. Brandon Scarpelli tuning in. Here we go. Chris Forsberg leading Frederick Osbo giving chase. Woo! Chris Forsberg initiates. Look at this, door to door. Oh, did Osbo give a little gold nose tap? Chris Forsberg stays in it. Look at these 2 champions going toe-to-toe, mano-a-mano. Second outside zone, the power alley living up to its name. A swing into that front clip goes Forsberg and Osbo transitioning down to that final outside zone. Forsberg deep, Osbo right there on the door. Make some noise, Seattle.
All right, all right.
Matthew McConaughey, what are you doing here, bro? Thanks for tuning in.
Oh my gosh, Osbo got to the game a tiny bit late, and when he does, he nearly makes contact, or he may have, with Forsberg right there on that transition, or excuse me, right there at the midway point of the bank. No, not that run, guys.
We went back to the future here real quick. I mean, you know Chelsea's number is 88, so he hit 88 miles per hour. Here's another look as we round out that finish. But Osbo and Forsberg.
Yeah, let's get that again. But it looked like Osbo got a little bit late to the game on his initiation, quickly got into it, but then he gets kind of into Forsberg a little bit. Here it is from the drone. See, right there, Osbo has that little tiny hiccup. Now he's in it right here. He's surging forward, taps Forsberg from above.
Stayed in it.
Stayed in it, and so did Chris, which is amazing. We don't know whether or not he may have sustained some damage, but Forsberg misses outside zone 2. 3, he's at the edge of it. Osbo doesn't complete it all the way. There we see a couple different mistakes from Osbo and one from Chris. Right here, though, great job by both guys in outside zone number 4.
I would say that Forsberg was deeper. Osbo barely put his tire in, if at all.
He was pretty close. It's better than what he was doing on the bank afterwards. Yeah. So I think some mistakes all around. It will come down to this. I just don't know how the judges are going to take the little tap on the big bank.
This is it. Here we go. Michael McDonald showing up as well. Thank you for joining us, Michael. As Frederick Osbo will lead. Chris Forsberg giving chase. Big initiation there from Frederick Osbo, trying to pull away from him. Forsberg reeling him in. Here we go, right to the wall. Both of them at similar height. Again, you want to follow that tire trail. Now coming to that second outside zone, transitioning in the power alley. So Osbo goes deep. Chris comes up a little bit short. Tight on that front clip. Make some noise, Seattle. Rounding that final turn and that final outside zone 4. Wow. Wow. It is a packed house, sold out, Ryan. These fans are hyped. Getting texts from everybody saying this is an awesome show right now, and you are here either in person or online. Ryan, crazy.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see a side-by-side on there, and it's something I definitely want to see as well. Let's take a look at the Osbo lead. Great job by Osbo. See the consistency and really not moving off that line, but Forsberg trying to keep the mimic there and does a pretty good job on 2. On 3, he surges, but Osbo, I think, was just at the edge of outside zone 3. We'll catch that from the drone. Perfect on inside clip 1. Osbo goes the middle section of outside zone 3, but Chris is still there with him. Now here we go with the side-by-side. You can see that Osbo had that little tiny hiccup at the get-go. Now he's closer in proximity, but maybe Chris is a little bit more stable in his chase, though his proximity starts to increase as they come off the bank. Osbo hits 2, Chris does as well. and you can see Chris is a little bit light on outside zone 3 in his lead. Now on this last section here, Osbo is a little bit tighter, like you said, Jared, whereas Forsberg followed him into the zone. So bit of a tit-for-tat matchup here.
Uppercut, right, swing. Like it was just a boxing match when it comes down to this. All right, all hands on deck. Carnage, not talking about the driver, but the carnage that is going on with these drivers throwing it down.
Clock's at 21.
All right, yeah, Jen, what's going on down there?
Oh my gosh, there's so much action. There are 15 seconds. I don't think they're gonna make it. They're trying to put the front brake caliper on. They've had the suspension arms off. You can see Kevin Wells, he's about to show them the clock. It's 5, 4, 3,
that's a wrap.
2. They're not gonna make it.
So update on the action as well. We were focusing on Dean Carnage Carney. Ryan, you also said that Jeff Jones concurrently requested a competition timeout. What has unfolded?
Well, I just had somebody come over and whisper in my ear that Jeff Jones, upon calling his competition timeout, whatever happened to the vehicle was too extensive. He did not make his competition timeout. So Dean doesn't make his timeout. Jones doesn't make his timeout. Jones at least has one run that is scored in the books. He will get the win for the battle, but he cannot move on.
So, yeah, because it's lead versus lead, chase versus chase. Jeff did complete his lead run, so he would advance on, but he cannot compete against Chelsea Denofa. So Denofa would essentially get a bye run.
You get an open bracket,
Yep.
yeah.
Here we go. So one more time. It's an OMT from Forsberg and Osbo. So again, just to clarify, Jeff Jones gets the victory, but cannot compete in the Great 8. So when it's Jones versus Denofa, Denofa will make a bye run. He automatically advances into the Final Four. Interesting turn of events, a unique scenario. It has happened before, and it's happening now. So crazy, absolutely nuts. So again, Dean Carnage Carney does not fix his vehicle in the allotted 5-minute time. Concurrently, Jeff Jones called his competition timeout. Does not fix his vehicle in the allotted amount of time, which is 5 minutes as well. Jeff Jones did complete his lead run while Dean Carnage in chase crashed into the wall. So there was one run that was completed, that was Jeff Jones. He will get the victory, but he will not be able to compete against Denofa in the Great 8, allowing Denofa a bye run and a fast pass into the Final Four.
Yeah, and I think that is probably the second time in the series history that that has happened. I'm trying to think back to the last occasion, but we have stuff like this happen from time to time. This is one of the more rare ones, and primarily it has to do with, you know, Jeff did not complete his run and not able to do it in the right amount of time. You can't give him, you can't allow him to move on into the next bracket to be fair to the other drivers. So that is why he is not able to move on, and there will be an open bracket now.
To be fair, to be fair. All right, here we go. Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Matt Field. This is a barn burner. Here we go, Jason Dienda. Let's see who comes out on top. Vaughn Gittin Jr., Matt Field. Matt Field gets to the side, an All-American battle. This is a battle of the All-American muscle, and Vaughn Gittin Jr. leading. Matt Field, the beast of the bay, making his presence felt. Down to the powerhouse, literally and figuratively, 16 cylinders, toe-to-toe, wheel-to-wheel. Falcon to Nitto. Past that front clip, and now in that final outside zone. Come on, Seattle. Woo! Insane! What? Holy cow, if there was a table, I'd flip it over right now.
There are levels to this game.
It leveled up so hard right now. That was bonkers.
There are levels to this game.
Woo!
Matt Field just took Vaughn Gittin Jr. into deep waters and let him go. And it could not have happened without a really solid lead run from Vaughn. But Matt Field took advantage of every possible opening that he could have on that chase. Look at the dive in right there. I mean, that is precision driving by Matt Field. He does touch Vaughn, but Vaughn, as a beast, stays in it. Now Matt is going to maintain great proximity, pretty much mimicking the line. He's a little bit tight on outside zone 2, but the story here is all about proximity and taking advantage of the opportunities given to him. He dives in once again. This time he's on the exact line that Vaughn was to finish things up, and that, my friends, is an incredible chase run from the current points leader.
I got Jonathan Castro right in front of me, and he's throwing me the horns, man. He's pumped for this. Again, a lot of drivers. I know Rad Dan is up here. I see him as well. We got a bunch of drivers that are just like fans themselves. I shouted you out, Dan. I don't know if you heard me. Rad, I was calling you out, buddy. First name Rad, middle name Dan. Burkett is the last name. Wow. Yeah, Nate Lewis tuning in. Absolutely great show. Yeah, bonkers run there. Hats off. Yo, round of applause for just that run right there. Matt Field, Vaughn Gittin Jr., absolutely the professional fun haver and then the beast in the bay. I love how he comes in, he dives back. You see him gain that composure and maintain it. Hats off to Vaughn Gittin Jr., staying in it, right? Both of them filling outside zone too. Just break it down again because it's so beautiful. Vaughn feels a little more. Love the composure there from Matt Field. They tapped that first front clip and only one. Both of them absolutely filling. Vaughn goes a little deeper if we're splitting hairs in that final outside zone 4.
Yeah, we're definitely splitting hairs, but we see Vaughn pulling off, and that's because there was the tap by Matt Field there. They are saying that that was Matt Field at fault. Now, it's not going to do anything. There's not going to be an incomplete or anything like that. The run that you saw is the run that's going to be judged. We just have to do that to make sure that the vehicles are safe, and because if somebody needs to burn a competition timeout. But going back to the run, I think you're exactly correct. Field was slightly tighter in 2 and 3 and a little bit in 4. Not very much, but noticeable enough to where Vaughn's team could take advantage of it. However, the proximity was really the story there, right? He utilized every opportunity he could to be door-to-door. Maybe a little bit too much on the big bank, but Vaughn stayed in it completely, and that allowed the run to continue, and that says something about Vaughn trying to finish the run, you know, taking the hit and just going with it.
It's good when they're door-to-door and they bash versus tire-to-door or something like that because, you know, and also
tire-to-tire.
Tire-to-tire is the worst because it could grab and rip the wheel out of your hand. Damage could cause to your body, also the body of the car and the mechanics, excuse me. And again, what I really liked about Matt's chase was we saw it earlier with like Osbo, right? It was chasing. We saw it earlier in other battles. You can have proximity, but what we're really looking for, and it bears repeating, the judges really scrutinized and said, we need you in the tire line. We need you in the tire stripe. If we're throwing down that tire stripe, that lead car, you need to be in the tire trail where that lead car is at. That's what Matt did. He was a little lower, and then he massaged it back. A little yank, little quick yank of the handbrake, got the car to slide back up and get it back up there. So it was very admirable of Vaughn staying in it, not only because, you know, I don't want to say, you know, drivers have flopped or anything like that, but sometimes it seems uncharacteristic of like a spin, something happens or whatever, not calling out names, not calling anybody out, not saying that anybody's done it, but, you know, there's those scenarios where, oh, you loop it, and it's like, nah, you know, whatever. It didn't seem that was the case with Vaughn. He stayed in it. His car wasn't disrupted. The attitude of the vehicle, just overall, that was just an exciting run. And again, my phone's blowing up right now.
That could have been one of the best runs of the year. By both drivers, right?
I would say so.
I mean, that was as close as you can get, paper-thin distance between those guys. Vaughn stays in the hit. Now, what we're seeing here is Vaughn is not back up to the starting line area to resume the second half of the run. They are giving Matt Field fault, and so Vaughn is able to check his vehicle to make sure that it is functioning properly. Like I said, though, it's not going to have any impact in terms of the actual scoring because nothing happened from Matt hitting him other than
repercussions in scores and results.
Exactly, yeah.
It just allows Vaughn to get hands on his car without utilizing competition timeout.
Correct. And so you can see that they're kind of doing that now. And we don't have eyes on Matt Field. Matt Field is probably in the general vicinity. He may even be back up near the burnout box. But man, oh man, that was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that really warrants just our level of excitement. Tires cannot be changed. He cannot change tires in between runs. So, again, it's just inspecting. He's probably checking toe, making sure there's no damage, making sure the alignment's all good, making sure everything is up to snuff. But, you know, sticker says ready to rock. We're finding out, inquiring what's going on here. Vaughn getting some hands on the car and seeing what's going on. So, as we're getting some updates here. You know what? Let's just take a quick break. Let's just build the suspense here. When we come back, we'll let you know what's going on. When we come back, Vaughn Gittin Jr., Matt Field. Was that not the most exciting thing? Well, wait, there's more when we come back.
Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
All right, here we go. We are pulling out of the commercial and ready to throw down as we are going to the Royal Purple Top 16. And we are not going back to the All-American Muscle Battle of Field and Von Gittin Jr. because, Ryan, we are hearing that Matt Field had wheel damage, so he needs to change his tire.
Right.
That does allow Von Gittin Jr. to put on a fresh set of tires as well.
Correct.
So fresh set of Nitto, fresh set of Falcons. Guess what? We're going to go back to the one more time of Forsberg and Osbo, these two champions. This is a one more time battle. Topics tuning in here. Moses watching. Here we go. Chris Forsberg will lead as he's our #2 qualifier. Osbo giving chase. NOS Energy Drink versus Rockstar. Forsberg versus Osbo. Throwing it in is Chris Forsberg. Big angle from him. Chris, you can see him dragging on the wall. Osbo just a slight bit lower there of that tire trail. Now coming to the outside zone 2, filling all of it. Osbo barely dips that back left. Nice job by Osbo. We got contact, stays in, and Osbo straightens out after that contact. Now in that final outside zone goes Forsberg and across that finish line. Oh gosh. That's, yeah, I'm worked up, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, we should just state explicitly where there was that contact there. That is not a decel zone, so that is obviously one of the questions that will be asked, but it does look like that Osbo may have kind of cooked it there a little bit. Let's go back and take a look. These battles are getting more and more intense. Osbo dives in here. Forsberg nice and high on the bank. Osbo keeping it super close. A little bit less angle, makes that adjustment. Forsberg adjustment of his own. See those front wheels move around, but fills outside zone 2. And here as we come from the drone point of view, you'll see Osbo's a little bit on inside outside zone 2, a little bit on inside outside zone 3. Forsberg's on the throttle there, and then you see Osbo tap him, have to make that adjustment, and then is kind of left playing catch up there. So on the face of it, looks like Osbo just kind of cooked it a little bit too hard into Chris Forsberg before inside clip number 1.
These guys are tuning it up, man. Absolutely going for it. This, I mean, we're only in the 16, and we are seeing this unfold. So again, the left side, Essa will go against Dylan Hughes. Jeff Jones versus Denofa, but Denofa will get the fast pass in the final 4. Right now, Forsberg versus Osbo, Field Gittin, Turk JTP, Reeder versus Olsen. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. The second half of this battle, Osbo versus Forsberg. Run 2 of this championship battle, meaning they are 2 champions, and we're only in the Royal Purple Top 16. So here we go, Osbo throwing in, Chris Forsberg, you can see, gaining some ground here. Now coming down into the power alley, how are they gonna fare? Here's Osbo deep in that second outside zone. Chris Forsberg, you can see him massaging into the third. Not as deep as Osbo, around that front clip. Now bringing it into that final outside zone goes Osbo and Forsberg across the finish line. Ryan, I think the contact is going to speak volumes. I think that's going to go under the microscope.
Well, whether or not it speaks volumes, what it speaks volumes about there, I think, is that it didn't matter to Chris whether or not he knew or presumed that Osbo was at fault. He pushed really hard on this second lap, and Osbo knew that he had to do the same. Osbo gets out to a great jump. Look at the angle there, and look at how high on the bank he is for the majority of the bank. Comes off a little bit early, but then gets to outside zone 2. Outside zone 3, still kind of a problem for some of these guys. They're just getting to the edge of it, but Forsberg taking it super tight through that inside clip. You can see Osbo just getting to the edge of 3 there. Now on this final section, Forsberg's gonna zip through that smoke line and be right at the appropriate line relative to Osbo through outside zone 4.
Oh man, just so, man, just a range of emotions here from, I mean, what we're doing as announcers and obviously the fans. Hey, you guys have fun out there and around the world and here in Seattle. Again, quite a contrast from last year. Empty stands, doubleheader weekend, moisture, now absolute ideal conditions. Packed house, everybody's hyped, scores are in. Slide him left for Forsberg, right for Osbo. Chris Forsberg gets 1 vote. and he gets 2 votes. There it is. Chris Forsberg gets the win unanimously. Lontaine, if you could throw on your headset, we'll wrap out with you. Amazing 2 battles, and it culminates to an absolute Forsberg win.
Yeah, when you watch the first battle between the 2 drivers, we had talked earlier about how well Forsberg was doing in practice on Friday, but he wasn't really putting that together in that first run against Osbo. But on this battle, you could really see what he was doing in the lead position. He was really high on outside zone 1, hit all his zones. Look at outside zone 2, outside zone 3. In the chase position, though, Osbo is missing those zones, and then because he's on a tighter line than Chris, kind of gets into the side of him there and makes a correction to not make contact with him. And on the lead run, Osbo was pretty solid throughout the run. I don't think he was as deep in a couple of zones, but Forsberg was right on his door through the whole run, putting on pressure, and really kept it clean in the chase. So he really beat out Osbo, lead and chase, and got the win overall.
Sorry, Ryan and I are discussing just the insane battle between Field and Ginn. That very well, I hate to just throw claims out there, like it's like the Castro-James Dean battle. We still talk about that. I feel like we'll be talking about that Field Von Gittin Jr. battle for years
Let's
to come.
codify that one into the FD history right there.
Carry the one, there we go. It's thrown in the
Well, now we have
book.
the second half.
Second half. What's going to happen? Now Matt Field gets the clean air. Oh, man. Where's the mini bike when you need it, bud?
Here's why this is interesting to me.
Hurry up, wrap it up. No,
okay.
tell me later.
New
Hurry.
set of tires for both.
New set of tires for both. Matt Field gets the grip, shoots away from Von Gittin Jr. Both of them have a brand new set of respective tires, Falcons and Nittos. Matt Field a little bit higher. Von Gittin Jr. takes some angle out of it to gain proximity and goes on him. Here going down into that power alley. Von Gittin Jr. lunging forward like a fencing match here in the Olympics. Now bringing it into that front clip. There goes Matt Field. Now transitioning into that final outside zone. Who's going to come out on top? Ryan. Woo! There we go. What do you say, Formula Drift Nation?
Well, if Vaughn loses this battle, it's lost at the start, right? Because we saw Matt Field from the get-go give 0 room to Vaughn, diving in, making that contact, and something may have happened at the line where you can see right out of the gate, he grips up and gets that gap. Now, any other run, Vaughn may be able to fight back, and he's not really in the fight until about halfway. He gets on that little bit of that lower line. Now, I think we can say that Matt Field's chase was one of the best that we've seen, and he's coming back with a very strong lead here. A pretty principled, strong lead with no major mistakes. And as we see both drivers come across the finish line, I have to imagine that if it goes in favor of Matt Field, that's the reason why.
Yeah. All right, so again, that contact. Oh, wow, look at this. Slide of left for Field, right for Von Gittin Jr. Our current points leader gets 1 vote, and now 2 votes. Matt Field takes down the 2-time and defending champion, Von Gittin Jr. Matt Field gets the victory and advances on. Like I said, from yesterday, from 0 to now hero. He jumps up. Guess what? He's only getting to the grade 8. This isn't even going in the Final 4, but exciting nonetheless. Hey, round of applause for Von Gittin Jr. as well. He exits stage left, but some fierce driving from the 2-time and defending FD champion. I'm sure we're going to have some adult libations later and wrap out about that, because that was an absolute bonkers run by both these drivers. The doctor was definitely called on that one. Here is another look at it, Ryan.
Well, like you said, when he dove in, he was on a little bit of a tighter line, right? But he immediately got back to where the judges were talking about. And he sustained that, especially transferring over, getting in the pocket again, staying super tight. Another great transition where there's that mimicking effect. And yeah, you know, it's not absolutely perfect, but dang, that was really good.
It was proximity, and it dabbled into those outside zones. And again, that true serum camera just showing you, shooting you up with some knowledge and just showing you what's going on. Another barn burner. Ryan Turk, JTP, excuse me, Derry, New Hampshire, Kalamazoo, Michigan.
I can't take this.
Just go ahead, Sleeve, I got this, bro.
Adrenal fatigue for me.
Just peek out, just pass out like a fainting goat. Oh, Ryan just fainted. Ryan's out. That's it. All right. I'm joking, obviously. As we are going to move on to this battle again, Field moves on, and guess what? It's going to be Matt Field versus Forsberg in the grade 8. So Turk, JTP, Ryan Turk, piloting that gum out Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback on Ditto tires. Of course, the signature teal and blue Ford Mustang. That is the Falcon Tires Roush Performance Ford Mustang of JTP. RT and JTP about to throw down as they leave the start line. Here we go. We're in the Royal Purple Top 16, and here it is. Ryan Turk. Bit of a gap already from Ryan Turk and Justin Pollock, but Justin, massive angle here, but not part of the zip code, and now comes into that second outside zone. JTP absolutely grenading those course markers. Ryan Turk with a wide swing. Justin Pollock, ooh, that got very precarious for Ryan Turk, flirting with that wall. He's a very shallow and short back bumper. Ryan, Justin Pollock on initiation, similar to that of Vaughn Gittin Jr., maybe shot himself in the foot by giving himself way too much room, thinking that he could catch him. But that four-cylinder turbo, it was turned up. There's Field. Look at Field. Everybody's just like, what the heck?
Yeah, he leveled up, man. There are levels to this game, and he just achieved another one. But as you said, to the run at hand, it looks like Pollock just got a little overextended. He's on a tighter line, and as he's coming up near the bank, he has to angle up maybe to avoid a big wreck there, and he really gives a lot of room to Ryan Turk. And then now that he's on this kind of more poor line, he goes off an outside zone 2, and he's kind of playing catch-up and really trying to do everything he can to be in the fight here. But it all kind of starts with the initiation, getting on that lower line, moving up, and then angling up and trying to fight back in this battle.
Yeah, he was just salvaging something there, and it really showed, especially on that outside zone 2, unfortunately for Pollock. But now, you know, he's going to get the clean air, and this is where it gets interesting. You know, battles are really won, I think, in the chase position, showing some dominance, driving prowess, and I think Ryan Turk, obviously he has the horsepower, he has the car. Can he execute? But Justin Pollock right now put down a solid lead run. Good angle from him. Ryan Turk not as deep. And a correction. JTP, obviously something. Oh boy. Oh boy. As now they alternate here. And that's going to be all she wrote for Ryan Turk, or excuse me, for Justin Pollock, excuse me. I got very nervous there as Justin Pollock re-entered the chat room. I thought things were going to get a little hairy.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious he was amped up, right? Like, he needed to do something spectacular, and that pretty much means you're going to be driving on an edge that tends to be fairly dangerous, and a lot of times he's able to pull that off. We see him do some things that are just, they almost seem impossible in terms of the angle and being able to initiate in these crazy ways. But this time he just got a little overextended, went into the wall, the front end washed out, and it's going to be Ryan Turk getting the win.
Ryan Turk gets the win, unfortunately for JTP, but another Falcon driver is absolutely elated. I want to see a smile on his face. Jen, who do you got?
Matt Field is right here. He just did quite an impressive battle with Vaughn Gittin Jr. So there was contact in their first run, quite a little bit of damage to Matt's wheel. We'll look at that in a second. He called competition 5 to change that wheel. Vaughn had to fix his damage. They mostly just checked toe. You must have really given it to him in that second run.
It was the first run that I gave it to him, but yeah. Honestly, when you run Vaughn, somebody like that who's as fast and as good of a driver as he is, there's only one option. You have to send it right from the get-go. I got a little saucy, I will admit, on the entry, and that's where I tapped him. But as we all know, especially at this track, the bank can win or lose you that battle. So I basically told myself there's no way he's getting away from me on the entry, and there's no way he's getting away from me on the bank. Gave him a little chest bump. Definitely destroyed my Ford Star wheel, but you know, we came back in, the boys put a fresh set of wheels and tires on it, and we went back out and won the battle. So that's, yeah, we're on our way, and I'm pumped.
4 nice round wheels for the next battle for Matt Field.
Oh, there it is. Look at that Ford Star wheel taking a hit. But you know what? It kept on going through the entirety of the run, which is cool. It's still out there. Matt's on one this year. Yeah, you can feel the heat wave. He's got his shades on. He's riding his mini bike. He's doing drift week. He's having a blast. And this is a season of just having fun and really taking it all in. And again, he's going for his second win this year. Here is how, look, only one more battle left in the top 16. Ryan, What were you gonna say, man? I mean, just overall.
No, I mean, yes to everything that you said. I was just gonna say, like, I caught something in there that hadn't been confirmed to me yet. Is that the only downside to that whole battle is that he had to use a competition timeout.
So that could play a role maybe later on, because here we are only going into the Great 8. Say something comes afoot in the 8 or in the 4 or in the finals.
Yep.
One and done. Competition timeout. That's a 5-minute allotment. You only get one for the entire weekend,
Right.
Friday and Saturday.
I think that if I had to imagine, for some drivers that may play a psychological role in the way that they approach. Others, I'm not so sure. It's just 100% all the time. But if you know that you don't have that, maybe the risks that you're willing to take are less.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But what he just describes is, you know what? I'm not going to, you know, look, Field's going against Forsberg next. But right now, it's all about Travis Reeder, the Walmart Reeder, the Speed Reeder, going against Simon Olsen, that 2JZ powered, Street Hunter Designs kitted, brand new Toyota Supra. Reeder very high in the bank. He is possessed. This Link Engine Management BMW. Look at that. Whoa! Simon Olsen exits stage left, unfortunately. He takes it off course, but Travis Reeder continues on as he should and as you are required because he was the lead vehicle. I don't think Reeder he might have stayed a little bit long on that outside zone, but I don't think he led him astray and led him off course. Let's take a look at this at a different perspective, maybe go the eye in the sky. Here we go.
Well, they get out of the gate clean there, and Olsen staying behind Reeder. Reeder initiates high on the bank, Olsen a little bit lower, and he's trying to build his way up. Right up against the wall there, you see a little tiny adjustment from Reeder. And no, I mean, he's leaving that zone, and there's a decel in that area. It just looks like maybe Olsen was starting to close a little bit too quickly. Now, obviously, Reeder does need to finish the run if we assume an incomplete from Olsen on the chase. But we see both drivers now back at the start line, and let's see if we get a quick return to competition, or if somebody needs to call a competition timeout. Looking at Olsen, he's got one, Reeder's got one. And so they would be good to go, and it does look like Reeder's going directly to the start line.
And yeah, Reeder, Simon Olsen, don't know if he's calling a comp timeout. He very well might. Or is he good to go? Looks like he is good to go. He's gonna whip it back around, the Norwegian pilot. That's Simon Olsen, Boost Fuel. Again, Street Hunters design kit on, shout out TJ, what's up homeboy? John Sabal. So Simon will lead, Travis Reeder. Travis Reeder coming into this round. He's from Vancouver, Washington. He sits 9th in points. Travis Reeder, Motorsports, Link ECU, M3. He's running LS under the hood. And Olsen with the 2J under the hood of the Supra. Here comes Simon. He will lead. A little trickle, but now he turns it up. But Reeder right there. Let's see what Simon's got. Looks like Travis Reeder gets into formation a little bit lower. And I think but then he massages it up. He is right there in that tire trail, into that power alley. Travis Reeder not exactly digging as deep as Simon Olsen, but that mistake that could go to Travis Reeder's benefit. Not the most ideal chase run as far as placement of the vehicle. Proximity was great. Angle, you know, solid. They make it look really easy. When you're down on the ground, they're burning. But I think the mistake by Simon could haunt him.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're gonna have 2 scored runs for Reeder and 1 for Olsen. So, you know, it looks like Reeder is still driving pretty hard here. He may, you know, have not been informed on whether or not it was an ambiguous call or situation. It seems pretty clear that Olsen was kind of cooking it in that part of the course, and obviously that there's going to be a result here because one driver has an incomplete. I think it's going to go to Olsen, and Reeder is going to get out of this with 2 scored runs. But let's go to the judges and find out.
Sheesh, here we go. Let's find out who moves on to the final position in the Great 8. The final position in the Great 8, and there we go. Travis Reeder from Vancouver, Washington. Your local Washington boy. Not local, but you know what I mean, from Washington. He gets the victory and fills that final spot in the Great 8. And he will be going against Ryan Turk in the Link ECU Great 8 in that Link ECU BMW, the official engine management unit of Formula Drift The Great 8 it's established, baby.
The Great 7.
The Great 7
yeah.
deserves clarification because already in, Essa warming up his tires. He'll go against Dylan Hughes, so it's an all BMW battle, one truly running a BMW engine, one running the LS. Next battle, Jeff Jones versus Chelsea Denofa. Denofa is able to compete. Jeff Jones, unfortunately, not able to fix his vehicle as him and Carney both called comp timeouts. Jeff Jones does get the victory, advancing into the 8, but he cannot compete. So this will be a bye run for Denofa, allowing him to go and advance into the Final Four. There's your bracket. So already, Denofa moves on to the Final Four without even turning and burning. And then you can see on the right side, Horsburgh Field, Turk Reeder.
Yeah, and because of the qualifying position for Denofa, he's going to have to defeat the winner of Hughes and Essa to guarantee a podium spot there, because I don't think, looking at qualifying here, he qualified 28th, yeah. So that he's not in a position via qualifying to get a podium spot. It looks like he's going to have to do a little bit more damage here, but maybe because he's got a little bit more time to rest and prepare, that's going to give him an advantage over the winner of Essa Hughes, or potentially the winner of Forsberg Field, the winner of Turk Reeder. But let's get to this battle first. Michael Essa versus Dylan Hughes, your first battle in the Grade 8.
All right, well, Michael Essa, Dylan Hughes. And here we go, all Beamer battle, as you can see, but again, one with a true Beamer engine, one with an LS. And here we go, and Michael Essa. All right, we got a chant going. Don't know exactly what you said. I don't know if you said Jared or Larry. I don't know if what exactly we were saying, but okay. All right, still didn't hear you, but it's okay. Hey, you guys having fun out there? Stomp your feet, make some noise. Michael Essa, Dylan Hughes. First battle of the Grade 8. Here goes Michael Essa out of the gate. Big initiation there. And Travis Reeder, what am I talking about? Dylan Hughes. Dylan Hughes going, getting after it. Michael Essa really high on the banker. Number one qualifier, D. Hughes, the dozer going. Oh, wow! Barely avoiding some contact as Michael Essa and Reeder. Gosh dang it, Dylan Hughes. What? They're the same person. They're the same person, Dylan Hughes and Reeder. Oh my gosh, I apologize, Dylan. Obviously, it's not a bad thing I called you one of your best friends. But dang, Dylan the dozer Hughes right there in tow. But Ryan, keep in mind, number one qualifier, you saw his attitude. He says, this is the most fun battle I've had in a long time, and that was against Goosh.
Both drivers making it very clear what their intentions are here. Michael Essa, yet again, a near flawless lead run on the bank. But Dylan Hughes doing a tremendous job in the chase. And obviously this is coming off the Matt Field battle where we saw one of the best chases I think we've seen all year. He really does a great job anticipating the moves of Michael Essa, especially on the transition from 2 to 3. He got right in the pocket on the big bank, and he really showed a lot of grit there and didn't really make a lot of mistakes. So this is a great start overall to this Grade 8 battle here between Dylan Hughes and Michael Essa.
Oh, you gotta love it. Again, Dylan Hughes will now lead the dozer. He's gonna charge. And Michael Essa giving chase. That fast orange Permatex BMW. Throwing it down, oh, and Michael Essa makes contact. Oh, and Essa makes a large correction. But Dylan Hughes, the dozer, takes it. The dozer gets a taste of his own medicine. Now they transition. Dylan Hughes could advance into the Final Four. Whoa, large slowing there by the dozer. And now bringing it on in and on home. Make some noise. Woo! Holy cow, Ryan. I'm just amazed by the contact being made today and just the drivers staying in it consistently. Just the car's not being affected. Not that the driver's doing it, but a lot of times the attitude of the vehicle, it gets disrupted and it's causing them to spin out. But not the case here.
Well, whatever happens in this battle, I think we can say Michael Essa definitely showed us something really special here this weekend. And this little tiny mistake in drifting, it's really down to inches, down to millimeters sometimes on these contact and collisions. And it looks like Michael Essa got into the pocket in a little bit of an aggressive way and then had a mistake that it really caused more of an issue for him than it did for Dylan. And Dylan stayed in it, he drove through it, and was able to come out with a pretty solid lead run, irrespective of that hit. And now as we say side by side, you'll see right here as Michael Essa and Dylan Hughes kind of get into it there on the first half of the bank, really. And rest of the run, I'm not saying that it's inconsequential, but it's really going to come down to how the judges see that.
Hey, seeing Dean Carnage Carney coming up here and joining us in the bleachers. He says the power steering belt snapped. So yeah, you kind of need that. Go and initiate in, and just it whipped him right into the wall. So just getting some words from these drivers that are making their way up here to the bleachers and watching this insano. I mean, I'm getting texts from a bunch of people saying, dude, this is the most bonkers event we've had in a long time. And not to take anything away, but I absolutely love it. So here we go. Slide him right for Dylan the Dozer Hughes. D. Hugh. Dylan Hughes advances on. Dylan Hughes from Snoqualmie, Washington is going to the Final Four. The Dozer. Look at this, a couple Washington boys up in the Grade 8, and now one of them in the Final Four. Like you said, he wanted to reek of champagne, and Dylan Hughes takes out our #1 qualifier, Michael Essa. Dylan Hughes qualifying 9th. Denofa, that's what's interesting, and you talked about it, Ryan, with his qualifying position, that does not help him out. You know, Forsberg qualified 2nd. Matt Field, remember, he qualified down there as well, 26th. You got Ryan Turk, well, he qualified 3rd. So, all right, real quick, let's go down to Jen Horsey, who wrapped out with Ready to Rowdy, Mr. Chelsea Denofa.
I caught up with Chelsea just before he pulled out for what amounts to a victory lap here. He's got a bye through that unusual circumstance of Jeff Jones and Dean Carnage Carney not being able to take the line. He qualified 28th. I asked him, hey, man, if you'd qualified higher, you'd be on the podium right now. And he said, whatever. It's the same points. I get to leave earlier if I don't make the podium. Back to you guys. All the confidence of Chelsea Denofa.
Right, yeah. Thank you, confidant and amigo and friend there, Jen Horsey, giving some insight. Everybody's loving it. Rutledge says hi, Jen, by the way. As you can see the Fun Haver tour there presented by Type S. Type S, the official lighting of Formula Drift. So thank you to Type S for their support. And here's Chelsea Denofa with his bye run. And do you remember how he turned it up? He had Ray, his crew guy, turn it up for his. He's never had a celebratory bye run, remember, at the last round?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just turned it up to 11, and he's even got the tattoo. I always talk about it, but he turned it up just to burn them off, just to blow those Nitto tires off for his victory lap.
Yeah, I remember somebody made a comment, like, because he went off course in the last outside zone. It's like,
nope, didn't win.
That's not incomplete.
Well, here it is. Let's lay out list of the BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D of Chelsea Denofa. There it is, loud and proud. So, Chelsea Denofa, who qualified 28th, is moving on into the Final Four. All right, so now we move to the right side of the bracket. Right side of the bracket, points are on the line. And with Denofa advancing on, oh, look at that. Also, we failed to mention Osbo going out in 16. Forsberg advancing on. There's repercussions there. Also, Von Gittin Jr. going out. So Denofa could definitely, but also Matt Field is still in it. So there are point standings. Matt Field leads the pack. He's still in it. Osbo out, Odie out, Vaughn out.
So you got separation.
Yep, with separation. Kazuya Taguchi out, Carney out, Turk still in, Reader still in, sitting in 9th.
All right.
Brand new car.
All right.
Forsberg still in it to win it.
This is where he has to make his move.
Yep. Pitter patter. Ferda. Dylan Hughes, he's still in it. So some awesome driving.
So what is it? 1, 2, 8, 9, and 11, 12 are still in it.
It's a lot. Yeah. I mean, not a lot, sorry, but yes, it's some real contenders. And here's a look at the brackets. Hughes and Denofa, they're already in. Here's the right side of the bracket. Forsberg and Field, Turk and Reader.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting because we had to get the Denofa bye, but he's actually the next battle up as well.
What do you mean? Why would he? Yeah, well, no, we go Forsberg Field.
Yeah, I'm just saying in the first battle of the Final Four,
yes.
he's going to be the first up against Hughes.
Correct, yes. So yeah, Denofa and Hughes will be the first battle of the Final Four. Ren Kirkham, how you doing, Rennie? Watching with James, famous James Kirkham. Race Service boys tuning in, watching, cheering on their boy Ryan Turk as Chris Forsberg and Matt Field. Here is Forsberg and Field, the Beast from the Bay versus the Force. 3 championships for Chris Forsberg. Matt Field comes in, as we just described, leading the pack. And Matt Field's just, his whole mental game this season has been having fun. You know, he's building a boat with Ripper, his basically his truck driver friend. Built a boat. They're having fun. They're doing drift week. They're riding dirt bikes. They're crushing some beers. They're popping bottles. His mindset is just different. It is. I mean, he's fresh and lean. He's crushing some meals. He's doing muscle ups. It's called, what is it again? It's
appropriate confidence.
The appropriate confidence level is absolutely on another level for Matt Field this year.
Yeah, there's no question that he has certainly developed his game quite a bit, and he is the driver to beat. He is your current leader in the championship, but Forsberg has looked awesome. Here we go.
That's right. What's he going to do to Chris Forsberg? But Forsberg just took down Osbo. Here goes Chris Forsberg leading the NOS Energy Drink. Nissan 370Z, Matt Field right there. Really mimicking the height on that bank now, coming into the power alley. Big angle from Forsberg, transitioning, nasty transition. That snap into that third outer zone was absolutely disgusting in a great way. Sick, bad meaning good, not bad meaning bad. That was nasty. Woo!
I have a feeling it's going to be like this until we finish.
Yo, and that's okay. Some people
okay
are
with
saying
that.
this might be the best Formula Drift ever right now.
Well, let's get a look at it here. Again, Field dives in and starts closing the door on Chris, but Chris has got a little bit more to give here. You can see a little tiny separation, but Matt Field's chase is on point. Great job by Forsberg in 2 and 3. Look at Field, a little bit tighter there. So there's something Forsberg can take to his chase run. On this transition back around, Forsberg clears outside zone 4. Field a little tighter again, but great job by Field on proximity on the bank. He has definitely mastered that at this course. Forsberg looked like he had a little bit more grip in areas where he was able to get slight separation relative to the battle we saw against Vaughn. And we did see a little bit of a mistake by Field not getting out to outside zone 3.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm just absolutely discombobulated, but trying to stay focused here because of just the absolute energy that all these drivers are exerting and just the driving prowess that they have. So as we're going to see them alternate here, Field versus Forsberg. Field out front, Forsberg in the chase position. Here we go. Second half of this battle, the Beast from the Bay versus the Force. Matt Field, let's see how he initiates. He locks it up, throws it into the outside zone. Great angle from Matt Field out front. Forsberg drops down a little bit, a little shimmy now. Coming to that power hour, let's see how they handle it. Into that second outside zone. Chris doesn't get all the way out there, neither on the third. But Matt Field puts the car in the right place. Now transitioning through into that final outside zone. Both of them filling it up. Great proximity.
Did they just do the exact same thing?
It was almost just like, okay, remember, you know what I just did? You do that like what I just did in the chase, and you do what I did in the lead.
Exactly, yeah. The most noticeable thing was that both drivers missed outside zone 3 in the chase. So outside of that, I'm not seeing anything that says that's screaming one driver or the other. And clearly, for fans that are watching at home, that's what the fans here on site are chanting. But let's start with the side-by-side. We see on the left Field maybe a little bit more proximity and duration, but not a huge difference there. Now let's watch both drivers in the chase position. They both miss outside zone 3 by a pretty good margin, not even really getting out to the painted line. But lead drivers on both sides looking solid pretty much the entirety of the course. Getting the right line, transitioning at the right time, and doing everything that is in that lead driver goals category. I think it comes down to the chases, and the chases are very similar.
And the fans are absolutely chanting, you know, one more time here. Okay, slide them left for Forsberg, right for Field. We got one more time, 2 one more times. OMT, OMG. It's unanimous, rightfully so. If the guys didn't say that, I was going to go over and slap each and every one of those judges. But fortunately, I don't need to do that. Don't need to do that. I was going to hit you with a foam finger. That's all, Ryan. You got nothing?
I got nothing.
Just
I mean, I was going to say that's kind of mean, but
what's that?
I said you're kind of mean, but
no, it's mean. I was joking.
I know.
Really hit that.
I know.
Maybe long time. He's the Lorax. He's the Judge Lorax. He speaks for the judges. He speaks on behalf of the judges. I mean, the BC Racing custom coilover side by side. Again, the official suspension of Formula Drift. Go for gold. And yeah. So Ryan Turk already to the line, as we will move on to Ryan Turk and Travis Reeder. All right. Absolutely insane. As there's the Link Engine Management top 8, the grade 8 as I like to call it. Called that for numerous years, and he is in Link Engine Management. BMW, he has the LS. I should respectively call Travis Reeder Dylan Hughes, because multiple times I called Dylan Hughes Travis Reeder during his run, so maybe tit for tat there. And I even said that Dylan's car had an LS, but no, it has a 2J. I'm just so excited right now. I'm legit like pumped. Adrenaline's flowing.
Yeah, it's really exciting to be at events live when these kind of things are continuing to reoccur, and you're just seeing these guys kind of step up their game. And it's not just every single year. This year it seems like it's been every single event.
There's moments in stick and ball sports and anything, and any motorsports. You have, you know, fantastic Formula 1 races. You have fantastic NASCAR races. You have some, you know, slower ones. You don't have some less lackluster. They're still racing, still great. You get excited about it. But then there's these moments where the stars align. The weather's perfect. We have an awesome sold-out crowd. Everybody's tuning in online. Everybody's hashtagging FDSEA.
Getting excited, man.
I'm getting pumped. Here we go. Ryan Turk, Travis Reeder in the grade 8, the Link ECU grade 8. Ryan Turk initiates, throws it down. Great job by that gum out. Toyota racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. Now coming down into the power alley. How's Travis Reeder going to handle this? Does he get out to that outside zone 2? He is bathing in smoke. Overshoots the outside zone 3. A quick little correction here. An awesome showing by Reeder in tow, but Ryan Turk putting on a clinic, and Travis Reeder is front and center with that BMW.
Well, Reeder was driving right towards us on the camera that we were looking at when the front end kind of washed out a little bit near outside zone 3. Let's take a closer look at that. But let's start from the beginning here. Both drivers initiating at the same time, almost on the exact same line. Reeder starting to go down a little bit. Kind of keeps the proximity pretty static throughout the entire big bank. Right here, watch the front end. You see he kind of grips up a little bit. He pulls some angle out of it. That's the one noticeable mistake that he makes there. Outside of that, he is following the line that Ryan Turk was dictating pretty well, had some decent proximity, but there's an opportunity here, I think, for Turk to put an exclamation on it if he can have a better than average chase run.
Yeah, I'm eager to see how Travis Reeder's going to handle this. I know he's got you know, friends and family here in the building, just being from Vancouver, Washington, and I know he wants to put on a show. He's a lot of emotions for him, you know, just building this car, preparing it. We hung out earlier this year at the St. Louis Auto Show as he was brought in by the Ford team, and just talking about his season, what he's prepared for. But this is what you prepare for. Here we go. Travis Reeder out front, Ryan Turk in the chase position. Now Ryan Turk, you can see him gaining some ground, cutting through the smoke. Travis Reeder, some wobbling there, but he does not fall down. Now going into that power alley, Ryan Turk drops into formation. There he goes into that third outside zone. Travis Reeder gets all the way in it. Ryan Turk does as well. Little evading of that outside zone 2, but in outside zone 4, both of them stand and deliver. Great movie, by the way. As they wind and unwind the second run here, Ryan, let's take another look at it.
Well, here we go. Travis Reeder fighting for a Final Four finish, but he's got Ryan Turk in his way. Turk was on a little bit of a tighter line there at the beginning. You can see both drivers kind of moving around on the track, trying to get settled here. Reeder out to outside zone 3. Turk just was able to touch it there. Both drivers on that second hash mark, first hash mark of the inside clip. And pretty similar there on that final outside zone. So will that front end kind of washing out a little bit in the chase run by Travis Reeder be the overall impact here? As now it goes into the judge's hands, which we don't want to leave it in, but we have to.
You know, we got to hand it over to him, but don't like keep it, you know, like lateral, kind of like a lateral move to the judges, and like don't hold on to it, just keep moving. Here we go, slide him left for Turk, right for Travis Reeder. Ryan Turk gets 1 vote and 2 votes. Is it unanimous? and it is. Ryan Turk gets the victory. Ryan Lontana, if you could throw on your headset, just elaborate. Haven't talked to you in a while. I miss you, and obviously I will not cause any violence to you on any of your decisions. I appreciate and do not envy your position, but Ryan Turk gets the win.
Well, thank you for clarifying, Jared.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, Ryan Turk just did a much better job. Lead run, you could see that he was high on outside zone 1, and when Travis was on his lead run, he, I believe, tapped the wall once or twice there, and the car got a bit of movement in it. While he was in his chase run, he did a pretty good job of mimicking what Ryan was doing, but he did have that lack of filling outside zone 2, maybe 3 as well, and there was a bad line there and maybe rotation from zone 3 to inside clip 1 on Travis's part, but Ryan Turk just really had a cleaner overall lead and chase run and deserved that win.
Thank you so much. Look at this crowd. Nobody's going anywhere. Seattle, Evergreen, Monroe, how are we feeling out there? Both beer gardens stacked. Hey, let's start a wave real quick. We haven't done a wave in a minute while we got the cameras on you, so we'll start from the beer garden. Can you guys hear me in the beer garden closest to the bank? Okay, we'll just start at the bleachers. So closest to outside zone 1, you're gonna stand up and go across, you're gonna double back, okay? On 3, you're gonna send it. Again, the bleachers, the main bleachers, you're gonna stand on 3 and send it towards the final outside zone. Okay, 1, 2, 3, send it, go, stand up. That side, come on, let's see what you got. There we go, Seattle. That's what we're looking for. Sold out crowd here, sold out of tickets. Now send it back. You gotta send it back. You can get involved there, keep it going if you want. Oh, look at this. Oh, going to the other beer garden. All right, send it back, send it back. Oh, we got a rip curl. We got a rip curl, heads up. Look out, can you do it again? Can you do it again? Oh man, look at this wave of people. Send it back, stand up. Now stand back up, stand back up, stand back up. Oh, there we go, atta boy. Kids, children of all ages. Okay, can it come on back? We're throwing t-shirts. Oh man, it's getting nuts. Send it back from the beer garden. Feel the frothy waves. Oh yeah. Super barreled, super pitted, super snipe. Oh, the guy's literally got a barrel. Speaking of barrels, nice. That's a random, oh, it makes it to the beer garden. All right, so here we go. Chris Forsberg, Matt Field. They are on the line, ready to rip. Chris Forsberg, Matt Field. Forsberg will lead. Forsberg will lead the first run as he qualified second. Matt Field, 26th. Not taking anything away. He had a great second run. Here we go. Forsberg, NOS entering Nissan 370Z. On GT tire, here we go. Going into that first outside zone. Matt Field quickly gets to the side of the Nissan. The drift cave, head caveman, beast from the bay. Both of them high and tight. Now into that power alley. Can't even see Matt Field. Into that second outside zone. Forsberg gets out there. Matt Field does have proximity. Fails to get out to the third outside zone. Transitions in. Forsberg, a little bit of a hiccup. You saw that little disruption by Forsberg, but Field, it allowed him to get close, and you saw him kind of back off, so it's kind of a tit for tat there. But let's break it down to our eye in the sky and all our different angles. Ryan.
We definitely have more to talk about on this run, but it wasn't any less entertaining. Both drivers initiate pretty much at the same time, and then Matt Field continues to impress with his ability to stay, what is that, 2 feet away, a foot away from Forsberg. Forsberg is going to pretty much miss outside zone 2. He's better on 3, but Field's going to miss 3. Forsberg and Field good on that inside clip in the final zone here. Field kind of has to not really straighten out, but the arc kind of tightens up as he comes off the wall.
Yeah, it just got a little wonky for both the drivers on the outside zone. You know, Field has just been doing such a great job of not just, again, it bears repeating, not just proximity, not being close, but mimicking that angle and being close and just mirroring where that vehicle position is. That I think was what really, he outshined, you know, in that Von Gittin Jr. battle. So this is where Chris, you know, he was the unit of measure in the drivers' meeting this morning, talking to the drivers. Matt Field said he was admittedly in the drivers' meeting. He's like, "Yo, let's wrap it up. Let's go drive. Can we? Let's get this going." Sometimes get a little long-winded on particular items that repeat, but when you've been there before, sometimes you're eager, you're chomping, you're chewing on the bone. Here we go. Matt Field, the beast from the bay out front, Falcon tires, drift cave, Orla exhaust. On those Ford stars, here we go. Yes, sir. Matt Field, Chris Forsberg. Look at that. He threw more angle at it. Chris did as well. These guys are going for it. Let's snap back in that third outside zone. Woo! We got proximity, my friends. Slide into the chat room. Here we go. Matt Field, Chris Forsberg. What do you got? Seattle, Matt Field and Forsberg. Oh my gosh. Like, I just got a text from Pat Gooden. He says, I haven't seen this many back-to-back-to-back banger runs in I don't know how long. Maybe ever.
Maybe ever. Maybe ever. And this run, again, no disappointments at all. Initiating at the same time. This time, Chris comes back. What is he, 6 inches away, 12 inches away? Right there, a tiny, tiny little correction by Forsberg in the chase position, but overall, you can see Field leads him into outside zone 2. He fills 2. Forsberg doesn't fill outside zone 3. Tight right here. Good transition back around. Forsberg through the smoke. And a great way to finish it up. Maybe for a little tiny unwinding of the angle there. Barely noticeable. And there is more to talk about in these 2 runs, though, that I think the judges can take a look at. Here's the BC Racing coilover side by side. Now, let's watch the zones first and see where any of these mistakes might have been made. See, Forsberg misses 2 in his lead. Field misses 3 in his chase. There's some bumping right there. There's some bumping on that inside flip. And then right here, Field had that kind of arc where he had to tighten it up a little bit in his chase run. Again, you know, this is where we really are splitting hairs here, but if you want to talk about what happened.
Both those bank runs.
I know. And Forsberg, a little bit of a tiny issue on the bank in the chase. Field misses it outside zone 3 in his chase. Forsberg misses 2 in his lead. So, man, you can see that little thing right there. Yeah. I don't know, man. Okay,
Scores
wow.
are in. Slide it left for Forsberg, right for Field. Are they going one more time? 1 vote for Matt Field. Matt Field gets the win. Matt Field gets the win. Ryan Lontaine throwing your headset. An amazing performance there by Chris Forsberg, but unfortunately, Matt Field is possessed.
The driving today has been incredible, and this battle showed us how the skill level of these drivers to repeat these performances over and over again. They both did an amazing job on outside zone 1, but for me, it really came down to the infield here, the power alley. Forsberg missed outside zone number 2 in his lead, and they both missed outside zone 3 in their chase. But because Field was able to get outside zone 2 in his lead, I feel like Forsberg should have had a better opportunity to fill 3. Field didn't really have a good opportunity because he was following Chris from a tighter line on outside zone 2, and I kind of excuse his missing outside zone 3 in the chase. But overall, amazing run from both of them. We had to really nitpick here to find a winner, but we think that based on that criteria right there, Field really got the win.
Thank you for the clarification. So our final 4 is set. Dylan Hughes from Snoqualmie, Washington is moving on. Chelsea Nofra, originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Matt Field, the beast from the Bay Area, San Jose, California. And Ryan Turk from New Hampshire. It is an all-American battle. Dylan Hughes piloting that 2JZ BMW, Denova, of course, in a Mustang, Field in the Corvette, and Ryan Turk in a Toyota Corolla. When we come back, our first battle of the Final 4 here at the Throwdown. Round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. It's the Final 4, brought to you by Type S. Type S Touring Products, the official lighting of Formula Drift. Send it!
The Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
My name is Farouk Kouaim.
Hey, I'm Justin Pollock.
What's up? I'm Jeff Jones. Hey guys, Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro 1 driver, and I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link.
What's up, everyone? We're pumped to announce Ford's Drift to Dirt Sweepstakes, where you can win your choice of a newly redesigned 2021 F-150 Raptor featuring Fox shocks with live valve technology, 5-link rear suspension, and Recaro seats.
Or you can win a 2021 Ford Mustang GT convertible, which you can shred the tires with 460 horsepower and 6 styling.
All you have to do is head to drifttodirt.com and enter to win.
NGK makes ignition coils. Why? Because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making better coils. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance. And because we race to win, we improve the design, testing, and validation of our coils for better performance. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together.
Round 5 of the Formula Drift heads to the PNW. That's the Pacific Northwest.
Before we get started, I want to know one thing.
Throwdown, oh my gosh, that's an understatement. The throwdown here in the battle in Seattle. Just talking during the break, some of the most insane-o battles maybe we've ever seen back to back to back to back. All thriller, no filler. You pay for the whole seat, but you're only going to use the edge. Oh my gosh, absolutely ridiculous. So we are live from Monroe, Washington. Here are some highlights. This was Chelsea Denofa. Denofa earlier against Trenton Beecham. That was in the 16. And then it was Denofa not even versus Jones. So he kind of got this fast pass into, but you know, if you think about it, Chelsea had to go through Odie right out of the gate. So this wasn't just handed to him by any means. And then that of Dylan Hughes against Essa. And here he is in the Final Four.
Yeah, it's definitely a breakthrough event for him. He's been building every single event as he's come up to pro, and certainly showing that not only does he belong here, but now he is putting himself in a position for a podium, along with his buddy right here, Travis Reeder, and taking advantage of opportunities that are given to him. We see that Ryan Turk, however, put a stop to that as he moved on into the Final Four. And he does have that number 6 qualification, which is a great overall result.
No, Turk's got number 3.
Yeah, no, Reeder.
Yeah,
Reeder had knocked out. Reeder had 6. Turk has 3. I'm just saying, it's a good event for
Copy that. Yes, thank you. And then the one more time battle between Field and Forsberg. And I mean, splitting hairs, phenomenal as far as initiation outside zone 1, but just the placement of the vehicle, the control. This is a trust fall. You know, I mean, these guys were partying out last weekend at Grid Life. I think these guys will absolutely high five and crush some beers later on, to be quite honest. And that was just, that's how you want to go out. You want to go out that way. So Dylan Hughes, Chelsea Denofa, here it is, Snoqualmie, Washington against Chelsea Denofa, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The top 4, the touring items, Type S, the official lighting of Formula Drift. Here we go, send it! Dylan Hughes, Chelsea DeNova, our first battle of the Final Four. That Permatex Fast Orange 2J BMW out front. Chelsea DeNova chased him down the gold nose into his rearview mirror. Now coming down into that power alley. Let's see how they handle Chelsea DeNova right there, transitioning down with that third outside zone. DeNova slides right into the door, but not making contact in that final outside zone. DeNova digs deep. He's a gold digger, baby, as he brings it across the finish line. Dylan Hughes, Chelsea DeNova, solid run by both the drivers.
Yeah, great way to start the Final Four here. Dylan Hughes gets an awesome jump, but Chelsea DeNova quickly compresses right to him, has a little adjustment, but keeps that proximity and the duration on, and right there, so close as he follows him to outside zone 2. That was awesome. A little bit tighter there on outside zone 3 by DeNova, and you can see hits a cone on the inside clip. 4, pretty even. Not much separation, but good opportunities by both drivers here to strategize for the second half of this battle, which we'll see right now.
Wow, some great drive. I'm telling you, Dylan Hughes, that Permatex Fast Orange BMW, he's feeling the flow. He's driving right. Unfortunately, he's going against Chelsea DeNova, who is currently second in points, and I was going to say he might jump up, but Matt Field, he's still in the chat room chatting it up because he's going to be going against Ryan Turk, who is also, Ryan Turk currently sitting 8th in points. This is definitely shaking up the system. So Dylan Hughes would love to play spoiler here. And you know who's rooting for him? Matt Field. Here we go, Chelsea DeNova, BC Racing Ditto Tire Ford Performance, Mustang RTR, Spec 5. Chelsea DeNova initiates into the bank. Dylan Hughes drops back quite a bit. He's going to need to gain some ground from what we've seen previously from these drivers. A little bit of a lower line there from the dozer. Now into that third outside zone goes Chelsea DeNova. Dylan Hughes not maxing and mirroring that angle of DeNova. And Dylan Hughes brings it on through. So Dylan Hughes, who qualified 9th, DeNova who qualified 28th. So let's take a look.
Well, getting a look here at this second run, it looks like Dylan was on a little bit of a different line there and then had to make that adjustment. DeNova, look how much he crunches the bumper there, almost all the way back to the rear wheel, and it doesn't affect the line. Now, obviously, that is not going to be good in the eyes of the judges, but we see with other cars, you go that deep into the wall, it affects the attitude and the line of the vehicle. Not with Chelsea DeNova. Here's another look at it. Crunching right there, and you can see there was a little adjustment, but not much else than that. And so as we see Dylan Hughes with a little bit tighter angle there on outside zone 3, trying to close the door here and gain that proximity. That's where that compression point is on inside clip 1. Does a good job back around on outside zone 4 to try to get some back. How will the judges interpret those two runs, and who's moving on?
Who's going to the finals? Remember, keep in mind that, again, 3rd place, holding carbon fiber, 3rd and 4th place get the same amount of points. It is about the trophy. Here we take a look at that BC Racing custom coilover. Go for gold, the official suspension of Formula Drift BC Racing. But you can see left to right, Dylan back there quite a bit. Love the proximity that Chelsea has in the chase position, transitioning in. Dylan does miss that 3rd outside zone of the chase position. Watch Dylan though, he gets in tight. Actually, Chelsea taking out that inside clip. So some kind of aggressive driving by Chelsea, but he knows he wants to get into the finals. He's been watching Dylan Hughes, the dozer, terrorizing out here on track, but Chelsea is as well.
Yep, and obviously I'm seeing some movement over there from the judges. Looks like the results are in.
Slide him left for Dylan, right for Chelsea DeNova. 1 vote, 2 votes. DeNova's going to the finals. It's unanimous. DeNova gets the win and is going to the finals. Now, Dylan Hughes waits to see if he can hold a carbon fiber trophy, because basically if Ryan Turk gets the win against Field, Dylan Hughes will get 3rd place. Now, DeNova, he's going to finals. He's going against either Field or Turk. And like I said, if Turk goes to the finals, Field qualified 26th, Dylan Hughes qualified 9th, Dylan Hughes would get 3rd place. Now, if Matt Field goes to the finals, Ryan Turk gets 3rd place. All right, so regardless, Ryan Turk is getting a trophy. Is it 1 or 2, or at minimum, he will get third place here in Seattle. Here is the other half of that Final Four bracket, the Type S top 4. Matt Field versus Ryan Turk. We've seen him drive absolutely insane all day. And Ryan Turk pulls up to the line. He will lead the first portion of this battle. So again, Ryan Turk is guaranteed a carbon fiber trophy. He will be on the podium. He will reek of champagne. Denofa waits to find out who he's going against. Matt Field warming up his Falcon tires, wrapped around those Forge Star wheels in that Pedal Commander burnout box. Here goes Matt Field pulling up to the start line. Are you guys ready to yell, send it as loud as possible, Seattle? I want you to get hyped. I want you to send it. On 3, I need you to yell, send it as loud as possible, as Ryan Turk and Matt Field are getting prepared for the second battle of the Final Four here at the Throwdown. Round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. As we get prepared to see who's going to come out on top, who's going against Denofa. 1, 2, 3, send it! Here we go, Ryan Turk, Matt Field. The come out, Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback, slingshotting away. Oh, Matt Field spins out. Matt Field spins out, and Ryan Turk continues on as he needs to. Ryan Turk does need to complete the run in order to have the advantage. He had the lead run. What happened to Matt Field? He's been absolutely poised. He wasn't even part of the equation when Ryan Turk initiated. You wonder what happened. Also, no competition timeout for Matt Field. He used it earlier when he damaged his wheel. Ryan, what do you think?
That was honestly the first mistake that Matt Field has made all day. But it's a all day. But it's a consequential one, is it not? And interestingly enough, you have to wonder what would have happened in that battle, because Ryan Turk did overcook it on outside zone 1 and put 2 tires off.
You mean 2, outside zone 2.
Well, from 1, and then you took tires off in 2. So there's the mistake from Matt Field. Big angle, doesn't hold it. We've seen this before on that course. Now let's keep our eyes on Ryan Turk here, and we'll probably get it from the drone. But he's coming in with a lot of speed, and it would have been very interesting to see how this battle would have played out. Let's see if we can.
At the same time, too. I just want to point that out.
It just, you see the angling from Matt Field that is, there's no way to correct for that at that speed. And unfortunately, it's in the chase position where he's trying to gain proximity, but he's not there just yet. And we are not seeing Matt Field come back to the line just yet until there he is. So that's out of our sight. But we will finish the second half of this run, but unbelievable, man.
Yeah, interesting turn of events, and you know, it could have been so his issue yesterday, he talked about he didn't get a lot of runs yesterday, or you know, so coming in today, he's looking for more. His alternator had some issues, so he needed a built-up alternator. I don't know if it has something to do with power, and you know, talking to Dean, you know, his power steering belt snapped. Just things happen. Might be a 50-cent part, might be a $500 part. Regardless, Matt Field is at a major disadvantage right now. So Ryan Turk, I have to assume he's still going to apply the pressure, but not like he's going forward, just an absolute wham bam, thank you ma'am. Here we go. Matt Field goes into that outside zone. Number 1, Ryan Turk. You can see lacking a little bit of angle, maybe playing it safe. I don't consider this an inactive chase at any point, as Ryan Turk now, he misses outside zone 3. Again, major mistake. Incomplete, 1 scored run, 2 scored runs. Matt Field brings it into that final outside zone and crosses that finish line. Ryan, unfortunately, as amazing as Matt Field has done, Dylan Hughes lands that 3rd place spot with Matt Field exiting out unofficially, allegedly, as Ryan Turk will be going to the finals unofficially, and that means Dylan Hughes will get 3rd place. But an amazing day for Matt Field, an amazing weekend from that 0 to now, just really capturing, I think, a lot of fans.
Oh my gosh, there's no question about it. Let's make it official here.
Slide him right for Ryan Turk. Ryan Turk gets the win. He's going to the finals. Denofa and Turk here at round 5. One more battle left to rule them all. Ryan, it's a bummer for Field, but like I said, I think he just gained so many fans here this weekend.
Well, you know, it is a bummer for him in a couple different ways. One, I want to know how that mistake came about. Right, he had not been making any mistakes all day long. And then secondly, the person that's in the finals is the guy that's chasing him down. And so we're gonna see definitely some points stripped away from Field as he makes it to the Final Four. He's not going to get third place. Dylan Hughes, because of his qualification, the higher qualification, will be standing on the podium, so that's a great accomplishment for him. But now we get to the finals of Chelsea DeNova versus Ryan Turk.
Yeah, like you said, those all two critical points. There's Ryan Turk making his way back to the pits. I'm sure, you know, the team going to thrash on the vehicle, get it ready. I mean, the way he's driving, he knows he's going against DeNova. DeNova isn't absolutely flawless either. I mean, he's having some great runs, but Ryan, you talked about, you know, going to the wall, that bumper folding in, you know, that inside front clip, having some issues there. But this is when you leave it all out on the track. This is the finals. One more battle left. That Gum-Out Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback, poised and ready to go. So Ryan Turk, Chelsea DeNova, these guys, I mean, they're some of the best in the biz, rightfully so. They are here. Ryan Turk qualified third. DeNova utilizing a strategy that we had murmurs of. Jen Horsey down there getting the communique. You told me about it. But a couple of the drivers utilizing that. Hey, qualifying doesn't deliver any points. Why not qualify lower and basically go against a variety of drivers? And I honestly think, and I'll give credit where credit is due, the judges, Chris Yule was talking about it, with the drivers all over the place, that could equate to why we have so many tremendous battles here today. Real quick before we move on here, let's throw it down to Jen Horsey. Jen, what's up?
Ryan Turk, you are in the final, my friend, against Chelsea DeNova. That's going to be a battle for the ages. Tell me about it.
I hope it is. You know, the Corolla hatchback has been driving awesome. The team has such a great setup on this car this weekend, and I just came in here, just wanted to have a ton of fun. You know, wanted to get some momentum going for the last half of the year. First half has been kind of rough, but not for a lack of effort. And, you know, we'll see if we can take this thing all the way and sip some champagne later.
So there is a sold-out crowd here, ton of people in the grandstands. I heard a huge cheer when you got through here. How important is that fan energy?
Oh, the energy is amazing. It's always been amazing here. The fans in the Pacific Northwest all come out strong every year. Glad to see them again this year in 2021. And I just love everybody coming up and just, you know, giving you daps and just a lot of positive energy all around. So thanks everybody out there, and we'll see if we can bring it on home.
Bring it home, Ryan Turk.
Thank you so much, Jen, as Ryan Turk staying hydrated, the rock star driver, ready to throw it down, but he's going to go against a monster driver, that is Chelsea DeNova. Ryan, your thoughts as we head into the finals? Turk, DeNova, four-cylinder turbo, nitrous. You got the nitrous-powered of Chelsea DeNova. Seeing what's transpired up until this point.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't be two different cars battling, right? And the driving style, I think, is also going to be really fun to watch. I think you made some really poignant points about, you know, the things that have transpired leading up to here. Well, the mistakes that we've seen from DeNova, but the incredible driving. Turk coming through at the right moment, taking advantage of mistakes from other drivers. This is a breakout event for Ryan Turk, right? He mentioned in his interview that he's had a little bit of struggles, and now here he is. He's going to have a big jump in points here, no matter where things end up. For Chelsea DeNova, he's looking down the barrel of a third victory this year. That's incredible.
That is.
Right? And it means that the consistency that Matt Field has had has paid off up until this point. He drops out in the last round, and so he's going to give up some points to Chelsea. He's going to give up more points to Chelsea if he wins this event.
Yep.
And that's exciting for us as fans, right? We are definitely going to see some separation for those two, even with the compression of points, just because those guys have gone so far in competition, and 3, 4, 5, and 6 had gone out at that point. So it's been an awesome event. I'm so happy to be back up here with fans, and it has certainly paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Team the Throwdown for a reason. The battle in Seattle. DeNova versus Turk, the final battle when we come back here to Evergreen Speedway, round 5 of the Formula Drift Championship when we return.
Your body is a machine with 800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignite it. Energy, human horsepower.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlick technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
The Pedal Commander is the world's most advanced throttle response controller. It's a plug-and-play unit that unleashes the power of your vehicle. Has 36 total settings, is easy to install, and makes the driving experience so much more fun.
Picks up RPMs way better, kind of like a race car, it responds.
Order now and use code FD2021 for $30 off your purchase.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Royal Purple, the official engine oil of Formula Drift, the synthetic expert. NOS, the official energy drink of Formula Drift. NOS High Performance Energy. How hard will you drive? Fight October 22nd and 23rd. Get your tickets now. There is a track map. I saw track side, which is basically that outside, inside track, and then you got the big bleacher seats, Ryan. And
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be bonkers.
We're fully back. Yeah, tickets went on sale this week. We'll have everything that you can remember from previous years besides 2020.
Yeah.
And we are ready to go. So very exciting. The last two rounds in Southern California, Long Beach and Irwindale. But it's really going to be fun to watch this final because I think we'll be talking about this round and the implications when we get to Irwindale.
Yeah, this might be a turning point. You know, again, I just want every driver that was here this weekend to really hold their head high, and this is why Formula Drift is the premier international drifting sanction body. Look at this crowd, the energy, the vibe, the flow, overall, just really dynamic driving, the proximity, the angle, the fans. You know, like I said early on, that Adam LZ, he brings in a lot of attention, a lot of eyeballs. But like I said, Matt Field, I think if you've never heard of him, you might be a big fan of him now. Ryan Turk, I mean, he's a veteran of the sport. Dylan Hughes, you know, Dylan Hughes, he's waiting in the wings because guess what? He's holding carbon fiber. He's getting third place in that Permatex Fast Orange BMW. He's a month away from trying to go 200 miles per hour on the salt flats on a motorcycle. So this is a man of many talents, and he gets a carbon fiber trophy here in his home state. So that is definitely something that I know he might even cry. He might even cry a little bit. Here's the points that are up for grabs. First place, 100 points. Second place, 91. You can see 80 for third and fourth, and that's where it gets interesting. So Matt Field will get fourth place. So even though he doesn't hold a carbon fiber trophy, I believe, yes, he will. Yeah, he'll get fourth place. So 80 points for him. So, okay. Oh boy, the plot thickens, Ryan. The plot thickens. We are hearing that Ryan Turk is calling a competition timeout. Says the thing is tuned up, it's ready to go. Operated by, Papadakis in conjunction with Papadakis and his team. He has his own guys on the vehicle, but Papadakis obviously, utilizing their pits, their technology, and everything that's going on.
The context of that probably means that they were called to come to the line after the tire change, and they weren't quite ready, right? That's probably one of the easiest explanations.
Right. Yeah, I obviously, we got Jen Horsey down there. The attitude down there didn't seem like, he says, I feel like we have this set up, but as we call an NGK competition timeout, I'm not seeing Turk go back to the pits, but he is right there. So the NGK competition timeout is NGK makes ignition coils, if you didn't know. Why? Well, because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making a better coil. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance, and because we race to win, we continue to improve the design, testing, and validation of our ignition coils to make installation easier and performance better. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together. So I'm seeing not horsepower, but human power from Ryan Turk. So we're going to need a tow. Speaking of spark and ignition, something not sparking here for Ryan Turk.
Well, so I was definitely wrong there, right?
What's that?
It's not about needing a little bit more time for preparation. There's an actual issue.
Yeah. Oh, man. Bummer. The plot thickens for Ryan Turk, as it does for Matt Field and Chelsea DeNova. This isn't the way you want to win. We've seen so many amazing runs. Again, cool, calm, and collected. Let's get at that thing.
I'm thinking a thought, but I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to jinx it.
You just jinxed it. You already did.
All right, so I might as well say it.
Yeah.
Same situation for DeNova and Erie.
Oh my gosh.
Going up against Papadakis Racing Team in the finals. Oh, yeah. Osbo can't make it. DeNova does a victory lap. Papadakis Racing Team doing a different context completely, right? But broken car nonetheless, or at least apparently broken car. DeNova definitely doesn't want that 2 times around. And of course, Ryan Turk wants to battle it out. But they are going to utilize the competition timeout. It will start once they get back to the pit, get hands on cars.
All right, well, we can see Ryan Turk and that 4-1. What is the 4-1 is the question. Jen, what do you got, anything?
Well, you can see Ryan is going off on a tow strap, and that's not what you want to be doing going into your final battle. It's not clear what happened, but he was looking at the gauges, and then they shut the car down, and the crew all started running. So my guess is there's something wrong with the engine or the electronics. They're going to check that in their 5-minute timeout, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a lot of these vehicles, their alternators shut out. They, maybe draining too much power, get that power suck, and also just overheating. I mean, I remember, again, Dean Carney told me about, the car maybe having a problem with his head gasket, but eventually the power steering. So you could see all hands on deck here for Ryan Turk, and it looks like we got water bottles. So I'm seeing temp. That's what's going on. The car's running hot. You're seeing a bunch of water bottles. They're going to pop that hatch. And that's where the radiator's at, so they're gonna cool this thing down. As Ryan Turk and his team, and there is our first 4 rounds. Odie Bakshi's wins round 1. Chelsea DeNova, Matt Field, and Chelsea DeNova once again back to back. As we can see our first 4 rounds. Here we are in Monroe, Washington. Our next round, August 27th to 28th, just in the shadow of the Gateway to the West, the St. Louis Arch. Technically over in Illinois, but I like to call it St. Louis. It's the closest airport you can fly into. It's just like we call it Seattle, the battle in Seattle here. We're technically in Monroe, Washington. But there we are. The clock is on. The hood is popped. The trunk is popped. And this is when you need to utilize it. This is absolutely crucial time.
Well, if you've made it this far, now's the time, right?
Burn it.
Make sure you are at close to 100% as possible. And I think you're right. You said overheating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just hearing over the radio that they are pulling something in the coolant reservoir. And so that looks like you are correct, Jared.
Sometimes I'm right.
Yeah.
I'll call Dylan Hughes, Travis Reeder, or Travis Reeder, Dylan Hughes. I mean, they're the same person. It's like, you know, everybody jokes about Daijiro Yoshihara and Ken Gushi.
Kazuya Gushi?
Kazuya Taguchi, Kaguchi, Muchi. Yeah. Spanaducci. Yeah, he's Italian now, too. So, and there we go. As we are going to throw some water in there, get this thing cooling down, making it rain. She's thirsty. She's a thirsty beast right now.
Uh-oh, Kevin's corner dropped into the 330 there.
Oh. Kevin Wells making sure cameras in the grill. That's not a clock. This is a clock. Kevin Dundee. That's what I like to call him, Kevin Dundee. All right. So here is take a look back at previous rounds of competition. This was Chelsea Denofa and Dylan Hughes. So Denofa and Hughes. Denofa overpowering. Denofa makes it into the finals. Like I said, not absolutely flawless. I mean, that was pretty solid. It's pretty solid right there.
Yeah, it's amazing that the collapsible bumper on that thing, it really did not disrupt it. But probably the moment of the event in the negative for Matt Field is that right there, right? The one mistake that he makes. And I can't wait to get some more insight on what actually transpired there. But in the chase, big mistake, incomplete, allows Ryan Turk to take this one home. And as we look down to the bottom right-hand side of the screen, we are now seeing Ryan Turk trying to pay this one off. But unfortunately, right now, they are utilizing a competition timeout. You can see Steph talking to him there. And that is where we find ourselves. Chelsea Denofa and Ryan Turk in the finals.
So
I almost said Ryan Field.
I know.
To add to it.
Just throw it all around. So 2 minutes, 2 minute warning, 2 minute warning. Hey, Jen, what's up?
A little bit hard to tell, but they're definitely putting a lot of water in the coolant, trying to get the temperature down. That would be my guess. They're not going to be confident in the amount of power this car is going to be able to produce in this run. It should still start. They may still go to the line even if they can't get this fixed, but we're going to watch for Ryan to be down on power. Thanks, guys.
Wow. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, so great update there. So not a lot of confidence in their corner. Still, this is where you risk it. You risk it for the biscuit. You have a month off. You got to think about attrition is the word that we always bring up. And St. Louis, about a month away. This thing
I
is
really
thirsty.
hope we get this battle. I hope the universe isn't saying too many good battles today, guys. Finals, nah. You can't have.
Pass. Go and swipe. I don't know which direction it is, but we're just gonna pass on that one. Swipe the other direction. Hey, stomp your feet, Seattle. Make sure they can hear you on the other side of the track. 1 minute left. They're just making sure they get all of the fluids, keeping this thing cool. Yeah, this thing, I mean, how much, this thing's a camel. It is just holding all the water. That was more of a horse, but I liked it, right? Oh, yeah. All right, so again, the clock is ticking. You can see just about 34 seconds. And Stefan's like, all right, dude, no more.
All right,
that's
good,
it.
guys. Let's go. Start
30
it up.
seconds, wrap it up, put a bow on it, put the cap on it.
What's a read from you on Steph's face? Concern?
No,
Or
he's
not?
calm, but just like, he's a real hard read. And I've told that, I've known Stefan shoot since 97. And he's just a real hard read. He has that engineer technical mind where he's like, it's like a beautiful mind. He's like looking like all the trigonometry and all the different things going on. That's him. So 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1.
Start it up. Uh-oh. Was that
Wait.
a no-no?
There he goes.
Oh, I know why they were trying to. They didn't want that to fly up.
Yeah, well, there's hood pins. They could have got it done sooner, but I mean, just let them race. We want to see them race. Kevin, they're fine. Everything's fine, right, Ryan? Is it okay?
It's fine, yeah.
Yeah, that's the most justifiable fine I've ever will justify for you to utilize.
Well, the thing is, I think, yeah, see, our guys wouldn't have let him out on the course if it was safe anyways. That's why I think it's kind of fine.
Just making sure it's buttoned up.
Yeah, they're not going to let him go out there if there's something obviously that's unsafe, like something being unlatched. So I think as long as he had the car started and he had the intention of going to the line. I think it'll be okay. We'll find out real quickly. Somebody will come and tell us. No.
But I'm seeing Turk out of the car now.
Yeah.
He's done? Oh, man. The temp went right back up. Ryan Turk going over, congratulating Chelsea
This is unbelievable.
Denofa. Chelsea Denofa gets another celebratory victory lap. Look at this, from Erie, Pennsylvania to here, a victory without a finals. Ah,
same
gutted.
story, different driver.
Same team, Papadakis team. Hey, make some noise for Ryan Turk.
Incredible. Incredible all around.
So, like you said, I mean, amazing battles up to that. We saw final level battles in the 16, and now here we are seeing, you know, Ryan Turk have to retire the car. There's hugs. The love is real. Unfortunately, Ryan Turk just a bit outside, second place. As soon as Chelsea Denofa throws it down, hey, guess what? Pull out your phones. Tag Chelsea Denofa, tag Formula D, hashtag FDSEA. This is going to be a celebratory burner. We saw it in Erie, Pennsylvania. Talk about overheating. These Nitto tires are about to go ablaze. We'll bring all three drivers, whichever vehicles make it over here to the traditional start finish, and join us at the podium. We're going to give away those carbon fiber trophies. It's over in the pits. Hey, Seattle, did you guys have fun? Formula Drift Nation, thank you for joining us. Remember, it's going to be traffic on your way home. Don't forget your tip to waitress. If you're going head home, be safe. And of course, there's going to be traffic, so be responsible. Don't be stupid. Send it when you get home, okay? There we go. Purge the nitrous. Here we go. Soap on Europa sends it for the final time. If you guys feel inclined, you can yell send it as soon as that car leaves the line. Purging all the nitrous. What is going on here? Oh, man, he is absolutely gassing this thing. Is his nitrous just going until his bottle's empty? The purge is stuck open. It froze open. This is what we call the Old Faithful. This is Old Faithful right now.
Yeah, either that or
he's vaping. I think he's vaping. He just picked up vaping.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. That's
along with the great battles, there has been some oddities here on this event.
You think? Okay, well, I guess he's gonna go.
Well, he's got to do a buy run.
He's got to do a buy run. He's gonna do a run, but with nitrous or without, regardless, looks like he's finally running out of nitrous. The faucet is finally slowing down.
Imagine he can't do a buy run. Then he's got to call a competition timeout, so he loses the first battle, right?
Then he has a second battle in order to solidify his victory here in Seattle. A wacky turn of events here, but what started out, Ryan, you know, kind of closing thoughts while we have some time, a weird 32. Does multiple one more time, some incidents, some accidents. 16 was dang near perfect. Like, it was just a great execution and an example of the caliber of drifting that you would love to see every event at Formula Drift. And like I said, in stick and ball and traditional sports, sometimes you have those amazing, incredible Super Bowls, and sometimes it's like, it was good. This was great. This was A++.
The point is to go far, right?
Yes.
And, you know, Denofa clearly went far
Here we go.
in this event.
Turn it up. Send it! Chelsea Denofa is your winner here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. That BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. Celebratory run for Chelsea Denofa.
Incomplete.
An incomplete run.
That's great.
So as Chelsea Denofa makes his way around the track, showing you that an interesting technique.
3 wins, man. I mean, this is James Dean-esque. This is James Dean-esque. And it's come under very auspicious circumstances, let's say.
And day, auspicious.
And it's not anything close to undeserved. It is very, very deserved. Yes. Everybody from time to time gets a little bit of help in one battle or the other, but he has proven time and time again that he's at the top of his game right now. And the driver that has been kind of a thorn in his side to get to that #1 spot is Matt Field. And Matt Field goes out today in the Final Four. This means Chelsea DeNova is going to close the gap potentially. Excuse me, he's definitely going to close the gap. He may be overtaking Matt Field on the second half of the season.
Celebratory donuts. Some DeNova donuts there for you. The BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D comes out on top. The Type S lights are on as the sun is still up for quite some time. We finish here at 7:05 local time, but an amazing, incredible event. We'll get our other two drivers up here. That is Dylan the Dozer Hughes and Ryan Turk. But there are your 1, 2, and 3. We'll bring them down here. And no mistake who comes out on top. And with a nitrous purge. And here he comes. Looks like Ryan Turk is riding shotgun with him. Keep that Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla over in the pits. And here they come. There's that Permatex Fast Orange BMW. Dylan the Dozer Hughes.
Unreal. Unreal.
That 2JZ powered vehicle. Some hard work being put in, and he finally finds it on top, or it's not on top of the podium, but on the podium, I should say. Make some noise for him as they step outside.
Just doing like quick math in my head, I think Chelsea DeNova is going to take the lead by 1 point. One point.
Wow. Wow. All right, here are your podium finishers. Again, join us at the podium, passing out those carbon fiber trophies. Third place, your local boy from Snoqualmie, Washington, piloting that Permatex Fast Orange 2JZ powered BMW on GT radial tires. Make some noise for Dylan the Dozer Hughes. Climbing the cage here at Evergreen. Dylan absolutely late. Don't cry, Dylan. Don't cry. It's okay. It's okay. And second place, after a hard-fought battle, an amazing day, come out Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback on Nitto tires, the rock star, Ryan Turk. And with a third victory, and unofficially, like you said, maybe a 1 point advantage, maybe taking the lead from Matt Field unofficially, your third victory, your third win of the year for the pilot of the BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D D4 Chelsea DeNova. Your winner here in Seattle. Congratulations, fellas. An amazing performance. DeNova, Turk, and of course, Dylan Hughes. Jen, I see you down there. Let's grab some words with our winner, Chelsea DeNova.
Chelsea, congratulations. Hard-fought weekend, but you got a couple of buys. This was a pretty insane event.
Yeah, I'd like to say I worked hard for it, but there was a few battles, and they were awesome. They were really, really good. Every battle we had to do, we ran heads up and as hard as we could. Everybody was progressing their cars throughout the night like crazy. I got a buy run, which was great, but it was a real bummer to not be able to go battle Turk here in the last run. So now I've won 2 events with a buy run with a victory lap, which I'm pumped about winning, but that's not really how I want to win. But, you know, I'll take the points, and hopefully these guys get their cars together and we can battle for some more.
Unofficially, that brings you to first place in the point standings. Where does that your mindset heading into the last 3 rounds?
Well, I mean, I think me and the team are doing the right thing. All of our partners on board are helping us build a car and keep a car together that's able to make it all the way to the end and be competitive and be able to win. So it doesn't change much. It just tells us we're doing the right thing, and we need to continue doing that same thing, and that's what we're going to do.
Congratulations, Chelsea DeNova.
Thank you so much, Jen. A great addition to the team. Again, hopefully we'll see Lorette Nichols. Again, she's at a wedding, but Jen did a great job. Thank you so much for pit reporting for our event, this event. But Chelsea DeNova, congratulations. Ryan Turk and Dylan Hughes. There's your 1, 2, and 3. Look at Larry as Larry Chen positioning them. Ryan, your thoughts here as we're going to head over to the podium and give out those signature carbon fiber trophies.
There's definitely a lot to digest and think about, you know, the implications of this round and also everything that we learned about competition in this new era as drivers are continuing to push the limits, push their vehicles, push themselves. And as we get to the downside of the 2021 season and head to St. Louis with a 1-point lead from Chelsea DeNofa over Matt Field, I think it's going to be a fireworks of a remainder of a season. Lots of memorable moments, and it's looking forward to be a incredible finish up to the year, and marked by battles like this, Jared. I mean, this just got us up out of our seats. Absolutely phenomenal moment. Execution was on point, and we see that Matt Field made one little mistake this weekend. Cost him an opportunity at the podium, but it is going to be, for the time being, the Chelsea DeNofa story.
Wow, there it is, Ryan. Our, again, unofficial. We put this up. We'll do the math, see where everybody lands. Chelsea DeNofa takes the lead. 1 point over the Beast from the Bay. Frederick Osbo, look at that, 53 points. Odie Box is 85. Ryan Turk jumps up, right? So, unbelievable event. Thank you so much, Brian. Great event, man. Always a pleasure. And it just makes our job a lot easier when the driving is that phenomenal. So thank you so much for everybody who watched, either in the stands or around the world. Babe, I'll see you soon. Love you, Parker, Tyson, Steph. See you soon. Thank you so much to everybody, the judges, the crew, the drivers, the staff, the sponsors, and of course, you, the fans. On behalf of Ryan Say, Jen Horsey, I'm Jared Deanda. We'll see you online, and we'll see you another time. Send it! Formula Drift Nation. We'll see you in St. Louis.